it's very dark blue. Is that fair?
Well, they both look incredibly similar.
I mean,
actually.
even maybe black.
Yes, but the batter is now taking guard at the nursery end from the umpire, and we can see that the opening bowler, if that is indeed the UKCA FCA as they're known, right arm bowler coming in, and that one is an attempted hit onto the leg side, but no contact is made and the ball just bounces out in front and there is no run. We're waiting to have the details of the opening batters, as indeed we are of the bowler, and we'll give you that as soon as we can. It is now up. We have Hill on strike, and she is facing the bowling of Sullivan. She turns that one nicely round the corner, and that's 4 runs. No fielder able to get anywhere near that, so a nice stroke to get off the mark in the first over of the innings. And we'll let you know some more details about the batter as soon as we can find that. So Sullivan runs in, bowls, that's outside the off stump and pushed out into the covers by Hill, and there is no run. 4 for no wicket. It's a good pitch today, plenty of runs in the first match, 309 in total. As Sullivan runs in, bowls a flighted delivery. Hill attempts to hit that one out on the leg side. There's no one on that deep mid-wicket boundary, but she doesn't make contact and it just trickles out onto the leg side. No run. Sullivan bowls, that's an edge there, running past slip. Ball's running down to us at the boundary below. We sit up here in the JP Morgan Media Centre. The one's pushed back by the fielder, returned nicely by her support fielder running back, and they take 3 runs, a well run. Hill goes to 7, and that means Porter will be on strike for the first ball of her innings. That's Gemma Porter as she faces up to Sullivan, and she pushes that one out on the offside. There is no run, neatly fielded, and that's the end of the first over of the innings. 7 for no wicket.
Well, a good solid start for the MCC, but equally well, I'm sure that the armed forces equally happy to get to be underway, really. I was talking to a colleague of mine the other day who at her school they didn't play cricket. She's a girl, so that she prepared a big case argument of why the school should have cricket, and her and a friend went to go and see the headmaster, and he said, "Girls, thank you very much, but we shall not be playing cricket at our school." So it's rather nice to see here that in this inter-services tournament we do have women's cricket, isn't it?
Yes, indeed. Women's cricket is very much on a roll at the moment, with the successes of the England side, and of course the great exposure in particular that the women's game had in the 100 tournament last year. Whatever you think of the 100 tournament, and opinions are many and varied, I think we all agree that it has done women's cricket a power of good, both in terms of the audience and indeed the number of girls and women playing cricket. That one's a wide ball outside the off stump. The new bowler is Clark from the nursery end. She's bowling to Porter, who is yet to get off the mark, and it's 9 without loss. That one's nicely played by Porter to short mid-wicket. It's well fielded. Ball returned to the bowler, no run. MCC Women, of course, who play a series of matches during the years. That's a nice shot, very well placed indeed, as she turns that one on the leg side, past square leg, and deep square leg running round. Can't get close to that, so 4 runs for Porter to get her off the mark. 13 without loss. MCC Women, who, yes, as I was saying, they do play a number of games on the main ground during the season, and these players will all be candidates or members of the MCC, whose cricket ability is without question. So we'll be seeing a good standard of cricket in this game, and of course the combined services team made up of the best players within the 3 services, and we'll wait for some information as to how much they do play together, as that one's driven out on the offside into the covers by Porter. No run.
Just a little bit about Gabby Clark, who's bowling at the moment. So she's been in serving for 7 years. She's the rank of corporal, and from Devon originally.
She bowls, and that one's again played into the covers by Porter, looking for a single there. Fielder had to move a little bit to her left to collect that, which she did very effectively, and after 2 overs the score is 13 without loss.
Yeah, so Gabby's her cricketing, well, she's an all-rounder, so we'll see her batting as well. Originally probably in a decent place in the order. Cricketing hero is Freddie Flintoff, and her T20 walkout music, "The Boys Are Back in Town," by I've heard
boys,
it so. The Boys Are Back in Town.
I've heard it so often, and I've got no idea who it was actually made by. You'll have to tell us.
The Boys Are Back in Town. I can't remember. I remember.
I thought you knew. Well, I'm sure there'll be someone amongst our team who will be able to give us that information.
It will come to me.
No, nothing about her cricketing career provided to us.
No, well, of course, this is, she's army. She's serving the nation.
Yes. I see she plays for Caution.
Thin Lizzy. There we go. Boys are backing down. Thin Lizzy.
Thin Lizzy. There we are. That takes us all back, doesn't it? As that one is a great shot actually by Hill. Played from above her head and hit round through square leg, and that's 4 runs. She moves to 12. Hill is not actually named on the team list we have for the MCC Women today, so we can't even give you a first name or any details about her, but she's made a very good start to her innings. She's on 12, and it's 18 without loss. Yes, we've got a bit more detail on the players for the combined services side, as Sullivan bowls again. That one, and Hill really loves this leg side. She hits that one round the corner. They take a single as it's fielded on the square leg boundary by Worsfold. Plenty of spectators there in the mound stand, and quite a number of 2 of the hospitality boxes in use there, and on the grandstand side we've got the President's box in use, and at least 1 more as well. That one's pushed out on the leg side by Porter. No run.
Yeah, I'll tell you a little bit about Abby Sullivan. So she is also a corporal from St Albans. Her cricketing hero, great choice, Charlotte Edwards.
Full ball there from Sullivan. Porter turns that one round again to square leg. They're taking full advantage of the short leg side boundary. 20 without loss. Yes, it's good to see them. Good to see that Charlotte Edwards, who of course had a fantastic career, has inspired some of these players to develop their cricket careers. And now, of course, many of the England women's side are household names, aren't they? So
well, exactly.
I can expect that trend will continue.
Exactly.
Really good to see. And some vocal support already we can hear from round the ground. 20 without loss, 1 ball remaining of the 3rd over from Sullivan. That one is attempted to be turned again by Hill on the leg side. She doesn't make contact, there is no run, and it's 20 without loss off 3 overs. A good start by the MCC. We saw in the previous match between the Army and the Navy that both sides lost wickets early on, so there were 2 or 3 down in the first 4 overs. This one, so far, we've no alarms for the batters.
Yeah, as you say, very good start, 20 for no loss after 3 overs, and no particular penetration, I guess, coming from the armed forces bowling. So no real alarms.
I think we're expecting a day for the batters as Clark resumes short outside the off stump, and that one's carved down the ground. There's going to be an easy single there for Porter, who moves on to 6. Yes, I'm hoping we're going to see a bit more spin in this innings than we saw in the first match. Perhaps some quite interesting combination of spin bowling. We shall see. One more there to Hill this time. 22 without loss. Very full day. If you're in the area of Lords today and fancy seeing some cricket, do come along, because we've got not only this game but the final match of the men's inter-services tournament as well, between the Army and the RAF, and that'll probably start, we're estimated, around 4:30, so the cricket will go on till after 7 o'clock today. Plenty to watch, as that one is played back by Porter to the bowler. No run, so a steady start, but the MCC are looking for runs where the opportunities present themselves, and no wicket down is important. That one's hit nicely through the leg side. It's running away. Is that going to get to the boundary? It's going to be a tight chase. It's going to stop up a little bit, as again a bit of relay fielding there.
Very good relay fielding from the 2 players there.
Yeah,
Can't
well
being
done.
one of them, and I'm not quite sure the other, but no, very good, real good commitment to get after the ball.
Yes, it's gone down to Connie Cant, hasn't it? Who also has Charlotte Edwards as her cricketing hero. That one's outside the off stump. It's not going to be called wide. Not too wide enough, and it's the end of the 4th over. So that's 25 for no wicket of 4 overs. Hill on 14, Porter on 9. I shall leave you with Nick and hand over to Tim Worden.
Yeah, well, a good solid start from the MCC, 25 for no loss after 4 overs, and I was saying before, no real alarms at this point in time. We've got, I think, Sullivan, who's going to continue. I think that's right, or is it? It's possible. Is it Abby Sullivan who's going to continue at the pavilion end, or is it a change of bowling? I'll find out. No, it's Abby Sullivan. She comes in now and bowls, and that's off the back foot, pushed out into the covers, but Pot Geeta's doing the fielding, and there's no run. She's bowling to Porter. Porter has 9 not out off 12 deliveries. And Abby Sullivan, I will test this. She comes in and bowls, and that's pulled forcefully and away for 4. There was a shortish delivery, and Porter was onto it very, very quickly and just thrashed that through the leg side for 4, taking the score for 29 for 0. Nice looking shot, that.
That was a cracking shot, absolutely middle that, raced into the boundary board.
So it's Abby Sullivan. This is her 3rd over. And she's up the stumps now and bowls, and that's shortish, and actually but draws outside the off stump, draws Porter to play at it, and probably she should really have been on the back foot there, but anyway, she didn't get a touch. It went through to the wicket-keeper for a dot ball, 29 for no loss. As Sullivan bowls, and that one is just guided nicely by Porter down through 3rd man area, and the comeback for 2nd second runners, I think it's Harden who does the fielding. So 2 more to the score, 31 for no loss. Porter moves on to 15. And I can tell you Abby Sullivan's song, Tim.
Okay, you're going to ask me to know.
Holding Out for a Hero.
That's definitely outside of my
Come on,
area.
it's one of those anthems. It's definitely your era as well. Sullivan comes in, bowls, and well, Porter tries to pull it into the leg side, but only as far as the fielder at mid-wickets can't, who's fielding there, so there's no run.
I think we could debate which eras we come from, Nick, but judging from our conversation lunchtime, I think we're roughly the same era, so I'm going to throw that back at you. So.
Bonnie Tyler. And this delivery, nice delivery from Sullivan, which Porter comes very correctly forward to and pushes it out to the fielder at cover, and there is no wrong run, so that is the end of the 5th over. MCC continuing their solid start, they're 31 for no loss. And I guess for the armed forces, just a question now if they would like to make a breakthrough. And if I'm honest, both these 2 bowlers have been very tidy, but not necessarily looked as though they're going to make a breakthrough. But anyway, it's going to be Clark who will continue from the nursery end. Clark's her 2 overs so far have gone for 11 runs. And just a slight fielding change. So we've only got 1 player out on the boundary. That's 1 fielder out on the offside boundary. We have now got actually another fielder going back towards the 3rd man boundary, but otherwise all the players in the ring as Clark comes in and bowls, and that's flashed out hard by Hill, but she doesn't make contact and goes through to the wicket keeper. So another dot ball.
I guess the Armed Forces team may be pretty confident they could chase down a good total as well, so if they can keep the runs down. Which
at the moment, as you say, it seems reasonably calm they're doing that, but this one there is going to be a run as it's a wideish delivery and Hill reaches for it and is able to guide it down towards 3rd man, so 1 more onto the score. Both players now on 15 and score 32 for no loss as Clark comes in, and again similar carbon copy delivery, just guided down to 3rd man, this time by Porter. They come through for an easy single, 33 for no loss. It's all very, very becalmed at the moment. We've got plenty of spectators in the tavern and mound stand, a few people in the corporate boxes away to our right in the grandstand. There's Clark bowls, and that's going to be a wide. She's just lost her line a bit there, and that did go very far wide of the crease.
Well taken by the keeper, who's standing up.
Yes, I think, am I right, is it Vaggers is the keeper? I think I've seen the name flash up. As this one is hit hard by Hill, and there's a little bit of a misfield down in front of us, which means they'll come back for a 2nd run. So the score moves to 36 for no loss. Hill moves on to 17 off just 16 deliveries. So roughly we're going at about run a ball at the moment. As Clark bowls, and looping delivery turned into the leg side, but only as far as the fielder at square leg. And there is no run. 36 for no loss.
Got some good facts for you on Melanie Vaggers, the wicket-keeper, at the end of this over, Nick.
Very good. You're going to test me now on her favourite song. As this one, nice looking shot, but also very good bit of fielding out in the covers by Potgieter, and preventing any chance of a run. So that's the end. That is the end. I'm going to talk for longer, so Tim doesn't test me on my music knowledge. 36 for no loss after the 6 overs. Hill on 17, Porter on 16. Go on then, Tim. Time for revenge.
So, no, just to go back to very fine wicketkeeper Melanie Vaggers, who clearly has a career at TMS beckoning. She's got the name already. You know, Aggers, Daggers, and Vaggers. I think she could be there.
Yeah.
And she's an all-rounder who keeps, by the sound of it. The song, I've got the artist here, Nick, but I'm not going to tell you.
Can't tell you what the song is.
Don't Stop Believing.
Don't stop believing.
That wasn't an invitation to sing it, just to be
no,
clear.
I can't. Oh, shit.
Anyhow, you can think about that. It's
I'll
also
think that.
it's also a significant birthday for her today, so to wish her a very happy birthday.
Is that right?
And
So this would be what, her 30th birthday?
I'm not going to tell you the number on air. I think I have got the information.
Okay.
Here. Anyhow, what a great thing to do on your birthday.
Yeah, well,
Play cricket
happy
at Lords.
Happy birthday. She may not be the wicketkeeper, of course, but
Yeah.
anyway, so it's not. This is Vagers Webb, who's in fact bowling, and this first delivery of hers, unfortunately, has been full toss, and it's pulled into the leg side and gone for 4. Nice looking shot from Porter. Vagers Webb just overstraying slightly.
Yeah, well, it's timely that we were talking about her profile before she came on to bowl. So I think you're right, Nick. But yeah, that one was a bit overpitched, a bit of a loosener.
So what she can do, her second delivery, she's in up to the stumps now, bowls, and good length delivery, and nicely played by Porter, just treating it with respect and pushing it back down the pitch, where Vagers Webb does the fielding off her own bowling. So 40 for no loss in the 7th over. The sun has come out again, and this one is a good delivery from Vagers. Well, I say that it looks a good delivery, but actually she's just fractionally strayed down the leg side, so it has been called a wide. At Lord's Slope, there's so little room for error on it. So 41 for no loss. So Vagers Webb supporting. She's got number 2 on her back, and a little shuffle, and then she comes very nice, elegantly up to the stumps as Porter meets this delivery, pushes it out to mid-on, but no run. So we remain 41 for no loss.
It's a much better delivery, pitched up, on off stump.
Oh, she was just on her way in there, and then at the last minute Porter just pulled away, so Vagers Webb had to make her way back to the end of her mark, which is where she is now. So a couple of shuffle steps, she's in and she bowls, and that's just turned nicely by Porter into the leg side, and they will come through for an easy signal as Worsfold comes in off the leg side boundary and does the fielding. So one more to the score, 42 for no loss, and that brings Hill on to strike. We can see Hill, she's got long blonde hair, which we can see coming through the back of her helmet. And she's ready to face this delivery. She comes down the track, and that's a lovely looking lofted shot. It looks as though it's going to go for 4. It is. That's the shot of the innings so far. Real confidence there. Nothing really wrong with the delivery, but she advanced down the track and well, clobbered it away. So she moves to 21, and the score MCC 46 for no loss. Final delivery of this first Vagers Webb over, and well, Hill shapes to play the shot again, doesn't quite time it, and it ends up just trickling out into the leg side and no run. So end of the over. MCC making a very solid start with 7 overs in, 46 for no loss.
It's interesting, there was a great shot by Hill, a lofted drive through mid-on, but I think it's interesting that that to some extent the fact there wasn't a fielder at mid-on is an impact of having this short boundary on the leg side. So you know, the combined forces had their fielders mostly protecting the boundary in squarer positions, and so actually hadn't got a mid-on, they got a mid-off, and they got I suppose a cover point, an extra cover probably, and that left the gap, which meant she could have a go at that one. It was a great shot and probably would have cleared a standard mid-on anyhow, but it was a really nice stroke.
Super shot, wasn't it? Really fantastic. Yeah, so both these players making very solid progress. Hill is 21, scored 21 off 20 deliveries. Porter 21 off 23, and it is he will be facing as we have a change of bowling. So we've got Potgieter coming in now from the nursery end. She comes in and bowls a nice looking delivery, which is pushed up to mid-off by Porter, and Worsfold does the fielding, no run. So Tim is just going through the notes to give us a bit more detail on Potgieter and her.
How are you doing with the artist for that song, Nick?
struggling, to be honest. This delivery is a short delivery from Potgieter. It's pulled high into the leg side, but just safe between two fielders by Porter, so they come through for a single, so 47 for no loss. As this next delivery from Potgieter is shortish again, but just pushed out into the offside by Hill, and right. Vaggers Webb actually who does the fielding, so one more to the score, 48 for no loss. We're in the 8th over as Porter is on strike. She's just surveying the field as this is a shortish delivery and rocked back by Porter onto the back foot, pulled into the leg side, and they're able to come through for an easy single as Wright just in front of us does the fielding. Wright, who's supporting the number 14 on her back. Score now 49 for no loss. And Potgieter comes in, and that's just tried to guide it down towards third man. Actually, there was almost a chance for a run out as Hill had charged up in search of a single, but was sent back by Porter. And she, sorry, it's the other way around actually. Hill is on strike, but sent Porter back, and she was safely home. And well, an ambitious shot from Hill there, looking to pull into the leg side, and if she got hold of it, it would have gone a long way, but she didn't, and it went through to the wicketkeeper. So the end of the 8th over, and the score is 49 for no loss. I'm going to leave you with Tim on commentary, and Avinash come and join you in the summarizer's chair.
Thanks, Nick. Well, the lengths to which you'll go to find out the artist of that song, Don't Stop Believing. So we'll come back to that next time. But in the meantime, I'll tell you a little bit about Sergeant Amanda Potgieter. As an all-rounder, just bowled that last over. She, very impressive record, has scored over 7,000 runs for the Army and the UK Armed Forces teams. Afternoon, Avinash.
Hello, Tim. And I think she's also represented MCC, if the blurb we've been given is correct.
Indeed. Berkshire, Morton and MCC, and hails from South Africa originally. So it's quite a cricketing record. Very impressive. And it was a good first over. And it's going to be Vaggers Webb to continue from the pavilion end now. It's up to the wicket. Right arm over. That's a wide ball on the offside. The umpires looked at that, thought about it and not called it. So it's a dot ball. 49 without loss, the MCC. Porter is facing. She's on 23 from 27. Hill 22 from 23. These two have done a very good job. Very even-handed between them. Vaggers Webb in again. That's a full ball on middle. Just dug out by Porter. Fielded by Vaggers Webb off her own bowling. So they've got two people out. Two fielders out on the leg side boundary. And they've got mid-wicket in. Fine leg in. Vaggers Webb in again now from the pavilion. Advanced down the track there, Porter, but only as far as what turned out to be a Yorker, given how far she advanced, and just hit the ball out to mid-on, and there's no run. And they've got four inside the circle on the offside, and then the fielder way out at long off. So Vaggers Webb in again, up to mark. Short, cut into the offside, but only as far as the fielder. Great over so far. 4 dots.
I mean, MCC generally will be very happy with this start, won't they?
Yeah, 6 and over. Hard to argue with that. As Vaggers Webb continues now. It's a fuller ball driven high uppishly through the mid-on area. Now, is the fielder out there going to get there? I think she might just make it. No, not quite. It's a long chase round from mid-off. But that's another blow by Porter. Actually, it was Hill who struck the last blow in that direction, but it was a very similar shot. And that brings up the MCC 50. 53 of 54 balls. 22 to Hill, 27 to Porter. It's a very solid base for this team to push on. And some entertaining cricket on a beautiful afternoon here at Lord's, with plenty of people watching as well. It's wonderful. We've probably got 1,500, 2,000 in the ground.
Probably 2,000 now, yeah.
So Vaggers Webb is in. Short outside off, but only played off the back foot into the covers, and there's no run. That's an over. It's a good over, just the 4 off it, and leaves the MCC 53 without loss from 9 overs. Not quite at the halfway mark. Porter 27, Hill 22.
Yes, I think, as I was saying, they'll be happy with this MCC because it's a great platform from which to let go in a minute. You know, they can afford to lose wickets. They can really go for it now. They've got a very good base. That boundary in that over fairly ran to the boundary ropes, the ball. So obviously, with very dry conditions, the ball is travelling very fast. So the scope here for a big total for MCC Women.
Indeed, and it's going to be Potgieter to continue from the nursery end. Athletic, running in now to the wicket, right arm over, and that's hit down the ground, but in the air. Is that going to carry
out?
Oh, it's brilliant catch by Worsfold at mid-off. She got one hand to it, knocked it up in the air, and caught it on the rebound. That was a very athletic catch. It looked like it might just go over her, but she's done the trick there. That's the breakthrough, and that is Hill gone for 22.
Yeah, super catch, really was, because she got a hand to it and it popped up, and then she caught it on the rebound again. So she really did well there.
Very athletic effort indeed, and 53 for 1, and Trussler is the new MCC batter. See if we can find a little bit more about the catcher, Worsfold. A fantastic piece of fielding.
I've just been out there in between the previous match and this match, and conditions are really very nice here at Lord's. 27 degrees the temperature now. Probably the hottest day of the year at Lord's so far.
Very nice day indeed. As
and even from where we're sitting here, you can almost get the glare. You know, I'm surprised that they're picking the ball up, because it's very bright out there now.
it's true. It's a hot day to be batting and fielding. It was Louise Worsfold who took that catch, and she's been a reservist for 12 years, and it's from Aldershot. Now Potgieter to continue. It's a short ball that's pulled hard by Porter, but only as far as the fielder, mid-wicket, and there's no run. There's a good crack from the bat there.
Yes, it was short ball really, which the fielder did well to stop. It was hit very hard at her.
So Potgieter continues now, 1 for 3 so far. That's a full toss. It's driven back to the bowler and fielded neatly. Sense a little bit of frustration potentially creeping in here. There's the freedom that Porter and Hill had as not continuing to score runs. Potgieter in again. It's a ball that's hit hard but very well fielded by Potgieter off her own bowling. She's stopped a certain boundary there, and they've got just a single. Very nicely done, very athletically down to her right in her follow through. It's well struck by Porter again.
Yes, she got down to that very quickly, Potgieter, didn't she?
Yeah, it's a very athletic piece of fielding. So Trussler's taking strike. She is also right-handed, and 5 on the offside. And
They've just moved the fielder here at long on a little bit further back.
it's a full ball driven into the offside. Is it going to beat the fielder on the boundary? No, just fielding now. And a single to Trussler to get off the mark. So we've got a 5 and 4 field at the moment. As Potgieter comes in again from the nursery end. It's a full ball driven firmly, but only as far as mid-wicket. There's no run. It's been a very economical spell from Potgieter. She's taken 1 for 5 off her first 2 overs. And after 10 overs, the MCC are 55 for 1. Porter 28, Trussler 1. and it's pretty evenly matched. I
Yes,
would say.
yes, and I would, that was a very, very good over from Potgieter. She's got 1 wicket for 5 runs off 2 overs, as you say, so it's very good figures, and it's finely balanced. I think MCC probably will be looking to start getting the score moving a little bit more now. We're at the halfway stage, 55 for 1 after 10 overs. But the UK Armed Forces will be happy enough with this as well.
Indeed, it's a pretty good effort at containment. Just looking at who is coming on to bowl now, because the scoreboard thought there was going to be a change of bowling, but in fact Vagas Webb is going to continue from the pavilion end to bowl her 3rd over. 2 overs for 14 so far, and she will be bowling to the new batter, Trussler. There's going to be 2 people out on the leg side boundary at mid-wicket and square leg. A short, fine leg, a wide mid-on, a deep, well, long on, mid-off, cover point, backward point, and a short 3rd man. The ball is left alone outside offside. It wasn't wide enough to be called an offside wide.
It stayed a bit low as well, that ball, I felt.
A little bit loopy. It may have been the slower delivery.
Maybe.
So Vagas Webb turns at the end of her mark, and again that's outside off. Is cut, but only as far as the fielder. It's extra cover, and there's no run. Trussler just getting her eye in.
Generally, the fielding has been very sharp.
Extremely good. Yeah. Impressive performance. Athletic in every department. It's a full ball driven, half fielded by Vagas Webb off her own bowling, but mid-off comes round and picks up, no run. 55 for 1 the score remains. Run rate of just over 5 and over. And, Vagas Webb quickly back and in again. Short outside off, it's cut but missed time, but they're going to get a single. They took it quickly, they put pressure on the fielder. Had a slight fumble and they come through for 1 run for Trussler. That brings Porter on to strike. And she's got 2 balls to do something with the run rate for this over. Vagas Webb comes in again to the wicket. That's a good ball that's slightly short, is pulled into the leg side. It's going to find the fielder at deep mid wicket, and they get just 1 run.
She wasn't able to quite time that shot, which is why the fielder was able to just field it so easily. Otherwise that could have been a boundary.
So Vagas Webb, last ball of her 3rd over, that's outside off. It's attempted, an attempt by Trussler to run it down finally, but it misses and it goes through to the keeper. That's the end of the 11th over. 57 for 1, just 2 off that over. Good over again for the UK Armed Forces. Porter is 29 not out for the MCC, Trussler 2, and it's kind of developing into a good contest.
Yes, it's a fascinating contest, and I wonder if Vagas Webb will be kept on to finish off her 4 overs, or whether the captain will save her for the end. I don't know whether it was our colleague Alan Radford's words whilst he was on air, but certainly more people seem to be coming into the ground. He was encouraging people to come in, but more people for sure.
So Potgieter continuing from the nursery end in her 3rd over. That's a full ball, driven but only back to the bowler by Porter. Quite a loopy delivery, but it certainly was enough to keep Porter in check. We've got 4 on the leg side at the moment, 5 on the off. Potgieter up again, short outside off, that's pulled only as far as the fielder at long on, and they're going to get just 1. A little bit of aerial danger there. It was not far from the mid-wicket fielder, who'd come round a little bit straighter. And 1 run to the total, 58 for 1. Potgieter coming in, a run, and Trussler advancing down the wicket there is half stopped by the fielder at short cover, but they get a single. Some discussion between the bowler and that fielder as to where exactly she should go to try and cut off that single. Porter on 30 will now take strike 59 for 1, halfway through the 12th over. Potgieter in again. That one is hammered down the ground by Porter, a flowing shot. They're going to get one and probably not come back from the second as the fielder at long on runs in and fields. And as we said in the game earlier, it's a bit of a 1 or 4 ground at the moment. You've got to run very quickly to get 2, particularly if you strike the ball well. There may be something in some slightly, softer shots to try and get the 2. Anyhow, this one is a Yorkery length on middle and leg, and is turned into the leg side by Trussler, and they come through for a single. Potgieter 1 for 8 off her 2.5 overs so far. Very, very economical. She's going to bowl the last ball of her 3rd over shortly. To the wicket now. Trussler is batting. It's driven down the ground. They'll take a single again. Relatively leisurely single. And it's the end of the 12th over. Score is 61 for 1. Porter 31, Trussler 4. Potgieter has bowled 3 overs, 1 for 9. And I will leave you with Avinash now, and Alan will step in.
Yes, I would say that perhaps the UK Armed Forces team will be the slightly happier now of the two. 61 for 1, 8 overs remaining. Their bowling is excellent. Potgieter has done 3 overs and 1 wicket for 9 runs. Webb 3 overs, 0 for 16. The fielding has been sharp. I think they would probably be the happier of the two teams just. Welcome back, Alan.
Thank you, Avinash. It'll be very interesting to see MCC's approach with 8 overs left.
And this next delivery of the new over from Webb from the pavilion end is just played out, and there is no run.
Yes, 8 overs to go, 9 wickets in hand, scoring rate just 5 and over. It really is licensed to hit, I think.
This next ball is driven out onto the offside, where the fielder from mid-off comes in and fields, and they take a single, so the score goes to 64 for 1. Trussler will now come on strike. 4 on the offside, and the next delivery is driven straight back to mid-off. There is no run.
Porter's been in since the start of the innings, of course. 33 off 42 deliveries. And Trussler's just joined her.
And Trussler just plays that ball out down the leg side, glides it down there, and they take a single. 65 for 1. Porter, the star of the show so far, 33 not out of 42 deliveries. And she is on strike now, facing Webb. And that's a wide ball, and indeed called wide by the umpire.
Wide and going wider, I think. But the bowling's been quite impressive, hasn't it?
It really has.
It's been tight.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Not too many opportunities to score.
In comes Webb, and this ball is played out on the offside, where the fielder from cover point comes in and fields, and there is no run. So we have a fielder on the long on boundary, 1 on the mid wicket boundary and 1 on the square leg boundary, and then 4 fielders on the offside. This next ball is played out onto the leg side, fielded very well by the fielder at a wideish mid on, who cleverly sees that the non-striker had started running and tried to throw the back at the stump, ball back at the stumps. Next delivery is in the air. That's going to be out. Yes, a catch taken at square leg on the square leg boundary. It was a full toss, I think, and it is Porter who is out.
Yes, it was a neatly taken catch and a birthday wicket for the bowler.
Yeah, yes.
Which she will no doubt be celebrating even more than usual. Well, I think Porter had to do something, didn't she? She'd been in for a long time, and she had to begin to try and accelerate the scoring rate. So she paid the penalty of taking one risk too many, perhaps. But
it was a good innings by Porter, 33.
Good
runs.
innings.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but I agree with you. She
Nicely
needed
played.
to. They need to, because they've got so many wickets in hand. They do need to start getting the score moving now. 13 overs completed, 66 for 2 MCC. And it looks like it's going to be Podgita to continue. We were wondering whether they would save her for the final over towards the end of the innings, but they're going to carry on with her from this nursery end. So far she's 3 overs, 1 wicket for 10 runs. Excellent figures.
I think that's a good tactic at this stage of the innings, isn't it? With only 7 overs left, that she does bowl out, having bowled a very good containing spell and taken the 1 wicket.
Yes. So the new batter coming in will be Nikki Chowdhury for MCC, and she's just taking her guard from the umpire.
It is in fact we've got that completely wrong, because there is a change of bowling.
Oh yes, so right, so that they are going to save Podgita's final over, and it is Wright coming on from this nursery end.
Shima Wright. It's pronounced Shimmer, apparently. Shimmer Wright.
Shimmer Wright. Slow left arm, is she, or slow bowler anyway, because the wicketkeeper is right up to the stumps.
Fortunately, we don't know her T20 walkout music, so we don't have to discuss whether we know the name of the artist, but her cricketing hero is Affy Fletcher, and she is a specialist bowler.
And that first ball is a nice ball of a good length, which is watchfully played by the batter. No run. Oh, this next ball is anything but, and is signalled a wide by the umpire. Very short.
Very short.
Took it on 4 bounces to make its way to the bat.
Yes. Lord's nerves, I suspect.
Yes.
Totally understandable.
So Shimmer Wright, right arm slow bowler.
Oh,
I'm afraid
and again.
Yes, an identical ball to the previous one. Must be a bit nerve-wracking bowling here. And her colleague from mid-off comes in to offer a few words of
yes,
consolation and advice, possibly.
I'll never forget Scott Boswell, who bowled for Leicestershire in what would have been, I think, the Nat West final in something like 1972, when his second over contained so many no balls and wides, he was taken off after 2 overs and never played again.
Yes, that would be soul-destroying, wouldn't it?
Yes.
So the next ball is a better ball,
yep,
which is played back to the bowler by the batter. And the next ball is a full toss. It's up in the air. They take a quick single, and there was a chance, the fielder felt, that she could run out the striker, but she made her ground.
Very good throw that was in from the field, because it was taken very easily by Chowdhury. Ooh, that's a short one again.
Yes. That ball is driven out to extra cover, where it's fielded by the fielder on the boundary. They take the single. She's clearly struggling with her length. 2 balls remaining in the over. She just dried her hands with the towel from the umpire, and yes, another short ball, and that's going to be a wide. Was it no? I think it's a no ball, actually. Free hit coming up.
Yep. And you feel for her, because it makes the over seem interminable when you're in the situation that you can't quite get it right. She's spoken to a second fielder now to just calm her nerves down a little bit. Wipes her hand on the ground.
And then, of course, it becomes a difficult decision for the captain as to whether to keep her going in the second over.
Yes. That's a bit better.
That's a better delivery, which is driven straight back to the bowler, who fields off her own bowling. This should be the last ball of the over, and that's a much better delivery. Good length. The bat had a bit of a flash outside off stump at that, and it went through to the wicketkeeper.
And remarkably, at the end of that over, it's one over. Her figures are 1 over for 5 runs, virtually all of which were wides. I think. I'm not quite sure how many runs they got off the bat in that over.
It was a very good final delivery of that over. I hope she
Yes.
stays on, because otherwise, when you get taken straight off after an over like that, it would also be very demoralising.
Yes, it was lovely to see the way she bounced back for that last ball.
Yeah,
and
so let's see what happens.
I agree
on
with
that.
you, Avinash. I do hope she gets
Yeah,
a
as she
second,
makes her way
a second go.
back to her fielding position at mid-off, or well, it will actually be short fine leg, and she's sort of practicing her bowling action as she does that. So 71 for 2 MCC. Trussler on 6 not out will be on strike, and it will be Worsfold coming in from the pavilion end.
Louise Worsfold, who is a lieutenant in the Navy. Cricketing hero is Charlotte Edwards. Again, so many of these players have elected Charlotte Edwards to be their hero, which is very good to see. She's an all-rounder and has been serving for 12 years from Aldershot.
In comes Worsfold. That's a nice delivery, which could be... No, ball was hit out, ballooned up into the onside. Fielder running in from wideish mid-on position, but it fell short of her, so it wasn't really a catch. We have the field on the offside. We have backward point, cover point, extra cover, mid-off, a long off, and then nothing on the onside at long on. And this ball is, next delivery is played out onto the onside. Fielder coming in from mid-wicket and feels there's no run. 72 for 2. Chowdhury is on strike. On the leg side, we have 2 fielders on the boundary at mid-wicket and square leg. In comes Worsfold. That ball is played slightly in the air to the fielder at point, and there's no run.
Yes, 2 relatively new batters in, and they've got to try and find the gaps in the field. 3 balls have been played straight to the fielder so far in this over. Chowdhury's faced 9 deliveries. She's just got the 1 run. Try and get a single if she can to turn the strike over.
Yes. This is the 15th over, 3 balls left. In comes Worsfold now. Big swing by the batter on that one, and I think this could be a run out. Yes, I think that will be run out. Yes, run out. There was not really a run in that, but the pressure, I suppose, meant that they had to go for it, and it was a good throw.
Yeah, I think that was scoreboard pressure, as you say, Avinash. There wasn't really a run there, and I like the way the fielder just simply underarmed the ball in for an easy run out dismissal.
Yes.
So
yes, that was very cool, because often you sort of take an aggressive throw and then it goes all over the place.
Absolutely,
yeah,
yes.
Good presence of mind there.
So we've now got a wonderful batter coming in with bright yellow pads and a yellow helmet for the just to match the sunshine up above. We've not seen this before today.
No. We've seen the bright red from the
Yes.
army.
It's Sean Price who's coming in. And the public address system announces that very same detail for the benefit of the spectators in the ground, who are still quite animated. It's really good to see the level of interest.
We were speculating, whilst you were off air, as to whether it was your encouragement that has increased the numbers, because there's definitely more people in the ground now.
Well, given the weather today, I can't think of a better place to be than sitting in the sun at Lord's. It just sounds a wonderful afternoon.
Absolutely.
For everybody. No threat of rain at all, I'm glad to say.
So 72 for 3. 2 balls remaining in the 15th over. Trussler on strike at 7 not out, and she handsomely drives that one through the long on area, and that's going to be 4 runs.
Well, I haven't seen the whole innings today, but that I think for me that was the shot of the innings
Yes,
of what
yes,
I've
a
seen.
slightly over-pitched delivery, but she saw it quickly, was in position quickly, and that was 4 runs from the minute it left the bat.
Yes, very good stroke indeed. And Trussler's now got to take control of the batting. She's been in for 13 deliveries, made 11.
And this next delivery is cut out through the covers, and that's 4 runs through extra cover. So Trussler moves on to 15. The score moves on to 80 for 3. And I think those 2 deliveries are going to fill her with confidence, the way she's played those 2. So her colleague from the non-strikers end, Price, comes and they have a bit of a fist bump and words of mutual encouragement.
Yes, a very good over for MCC there in the end with those 2 boundaries. Trussler played 2 very good shots, one through mid-on and one into the covers. Both of them reached the boundary rope, and that should give her plenty of encouragement to continue to build this innings. MCC women will be, I suppose they'll be looking for something like 120. They've still got 7 wickets in hand, of course, and batting to come. So no reason to hold back.
It'll be interesting to see what Price does now. She's going to be facing her first delivery. She's just taking guard from the umpire. And it'll be Clark who's going to be bowling her 4th over from the nursery end. Bright yellow pads, bright yellow helmet. A fielder is being pushed back onto the backward point boundary. In comes Clark, and the ball is actually down the leg side, glided to short fine leg, and they take a single,
And
bringing Trussler on strike.
And good cricket that from Price to get off the mark, get a single from the first ball to give Trussler, the principal batsman, the strike again.
Yes, she's got her eye in, hasn't she? And she plays this next ball out into the covers and runs through for a quick single. It's the MCC ball-by-ball commentary service. You're very welcome to email us at ballbyball@mcc.org.uk. We'd love to hear from you from wherever you are. In comes Clark. Ball is missed by everybody, I think. That might be a leg by, or did they get a... Yes, leg by signal by the umpire. 83 for 3 the score now. In the 16th over. The next ball is a full pitch ball, which is played out onto the leg side. And they take a quick single. I thought for a minute that that was also leg by, but there's no signal by the umpire, so it must have got the bat to it. 2 balls remaining in the over. Another full pitch delivery. A full toss, in fact, and that's driven nicely out to the extra cover boundary for 4 runs.
Yep.
88 for 3 now, and that puts Price, takes Price to 5 not out.
And she saw that early and hit it very well indeed, and probably 4 from the moment that left the bat.
And she's now on strike facing the last ball of the over, which she delicately plays out. I thought that was going to come towards the mid-on area, but in fact it didn't, and there's no run. 88 for 3.
So with 4... Sorry.
I will leave you with Alan Radford whilst I make way for Nick.
Thank you, Avinash. So with 4 overs left, the score is 88 for 3. And Price, with her yellow helmet, has got off to a good start, joining Trussler, who's on 17. And I was saying 120 might be the target. That would have been 8 and over. They got exactly 8 from that over, so another 4 overs, 32 runs, they'll get to 120, which would be a target they could possibly hope to defend. It will be Worsfold who's resuming from the pavilion end, who bowls a full ball. That is a loud appeal, but no interest there from the umpire.
I suspect it was bat hitting ground rather than anything else. The fielder who was most vociferous on that one was the one at mid-wicket.
Yeah, which doesn't suggest there's a lot of hope, does there?
Yeah.
So welcome back, Nick. The last 4 overs of this innings.
Thank you very much, Alan.
As Worsfold runs in, lots of arms flailing as that one's driven out nicely into the covers by Trussler.
Yeah, I like the look of Trussler. She looks a very confident batter, and her ability to sort of manoeuvre herself around the crease to get herself in good position to score runs.
So she's on to 18 after that single. And Worsfold bowls outside the off stump. That one's hit round the corner by Price. There's a single down to the square leg boundary. Well fielded, 1 run, 90 for 3.
So do you know, Alan, the wonderful yellow helmet and yellow pads of Price? Is that a particular team that she plays for? Or?
I don't really know. We don't
have it, do we?
We don't have any detail, unfortunately, of her allegiances beyond the MCC. It's interesting that she's the only one we've seen so far in any kit customised beyond what the rest of the team are wearing. Single there to Trussler. 2 short mid-wicket, 1 more run. Worsfold comes in, about 12 paces, bowls full ball, driven out nicely down to mid-off by Price, thrown in from mid-off, doesn't hit the stumps, so an easy single.
Yeah, what these two, Trussler and Price, are doing very well at the moment is they've got the confidence to pretty well take a single every ball. And so the challenge for the armed forces is whether there are opportunities of run-outs, but they're going to be confident in the field.
Yeah, I don't think the armed forces will mind that, will they? Because singles at this stage are absolutely fine. They're taking a second run there. The throw was slightly delayed, in fact, by the fielder down there. I think
she went up in the air, didn't it?
Yes. I don't know if she thought they weren't going to go for a second run, but in the end they had plenty of time to complete that. So that's the end of the 17th over, and it's 94 for 3.
Yeah, this partnership worth 22. And I was just saying before, I think the both of them run pretty well between the wickets, particularly Price. Actually, he's very quick, and so that's giving them the confidence to, even if the ball is being hit hard to a fielder, it's giving them the confidence to take the single and just maintain momentum. So I think it'll be a tall order. Well, the 120 we talked about, but yeah, it probably, if these two stay there, that's very definitely on the cards.
Yes, the score's moving up by singles and twos rather than by boundaries at the moment, but they're rotating the strike nicely. So from the nursery end, it'll be the opening bowler Sullivan resuming, right arm, and that's outside the off stump, and Price's stroke is unrewarded as the ball goes through to the keeper. So she takes guard again, ready to face Sullivan. 3 overs, 1 for 20 from her opening spell. That one's played nicely down the ground to mid-on for a single.
Yeah, nice looking shot, wasn't it, from Price? Very
good,
correct.
Yep,
on drive. Very elegant shot.
Good cricket again to bring Trussler back on strike. 95 for 3. Makings of a good contest here. Sullivan bowls, Trussler plays that onto the leg side. Short mid-wicket, picks it up.
Yeah, it's just a possible run out there. Price, I was saying, is quick between the wickets, so she was about a third of the way up the pitch and then got sent back by Trussler.
Trussler didn't really see a chance of a single there, and she'd have been the one to go probably. That one is a bit of a mo, or would have been a bit of a mo if she'd made contact with it, but was outside the off stump, and Trussler attempting to hit that one out onto the leg side into the empty spaces.
Yeah, she is stronger, isn't she, Trussler, on the leg side?
Yes, it's the opportunity when she needs runs to be scored. That one she does make contact with, down to where it's dropped. It's dropped. She had to make a bit of ground to her right, the fielder there, Dean. Not too difficult a chance, I would suggest, but she wasn't able to hang on to it, and it bounced out of her hands. And the outcome was 2 runs to Trussler, so they'll be very grateful for that, the MCC. That one's a good ball. No, it's not a good ball. In fact, it's a little bit wider than I thought it was. Called a wide by the umpire. One more run, 98 for 3. As that one's hit
runs
over mid-wicket, that's running away towards the boundary, but it's going to be stopped there, and they will take a couple of runs. Lofted shot from Trussler, entirely legitimate at this stage of the game, and that brings the 100 up for the MCC of 18 overs exactly. They'll be very pleased to see that initial target reached, and every run probably counts very much from now on. What can they make of these last 2 overs? Do you think 120 is still on, Nick?
Well, they would hope it would be. I mean, the run rate is currently, what, 5.6. To do that, to get 10 and over, they're going to need probably 3 boundaries in the next 12 balls. If they get 3 boundaries, then they probably will get there.
Worsfold resumes. And Price, well, so really effectively in the end it was a drive down to mid-off, and they take a single. 101 for 3. Price moves up to 9. The sun now shining down brightly on Lords. Looks really beautiful. Spectators having a wonderful day out. As that's a great shot.
That's one of the boundaries.
Trussler. That's one of those boundaries, yes, as you say. 2 more of those, and 120's well within reach. She decided what to do with that one early. Made very good contact. 4 runs.
Yes, just turned it nicely into the leg side and raced away.
Yeah. Only one fielder on that leg side boundary, so anything wide of them will be easily go away for 4. Worsfold again to Trussler. Goes down the pitch.
Bowled
and just bowled. Clean bowl. Well, it was a risk she had to take, and a very good wicket, I would suggest, for the combined forces 11 to get rid of the set batsman Trussler, who departs for 29, bowled by Worsfold, and that leaves the MCC at 105 for 4.
Yeah, important wicket for the armed forces at this moment in time, getting rid of the danger person Trussler, and just the result of that, just exactly what you need, just to take away a little bit of momentum, bring a new batsman to the crease. Kite, Trussler to super knock, I think 29 from 26, I think, is that right?
Yeah, it was about that. It was about that number.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you know, really injected great momentum into the innings.
Well, Amelia Kite is the new batter, and with 9 balls left, there's only one way that she can play. There's still 6 wickets left, of course, so there's no reason not to
go for it. Yeah,
I
think that partnership between Price and Trussler was worth, I think I'm right in saying 33, and probably the fastest just increased the run rate a bit. So it's a terrific knock.
Yes, yes, it sets the game up nicely. So it's Worsfold bowling to Amelia Kite, who hits that one out into the offside. It's fielded in the covers. There is no run. So we'll allow her the one ball to
Get her eye in.
get her eye in, and now we'll see what she can do. So we've got one on the boundary on the offside in deep cover, one at deep mid-wicket. Protecting the boundaries as she slashes at that. Outside the off stump, goes through to the keeper. No run, so good over from Worsfold so far.
Yeah, very good over. Exactly what the armed forces wanted.
That's right. 2 for 20, her figures. As she runs in again. That's a ball that's driven down to long on by Kite, who they're running through for a sharp second run. I didn't think they were necessarily going to go for that, but there was time enough on the throw. And that's 2 to Kite. Price is on 9, and it's 107 for 4 with just 1 over remaining.
Yeah, excellent running that from Price, not least because with the end of the over that gets her back on strike for the final over. And as we said, so to get to 120, we felt probably 3 boundaries were needed. They got 1 in that over, but also the wicket of Trussler going. So they've got about 107. See how Price goes, but a couple of boundaries from Price, then you know, 8 to 13 off this over, and it's certainly a very competitive score.
Yes. Potgieter had 1 over remaining, and she's been the tightest bowler we've seen so far today. 3 overs, 1 for 10, and she's going to bowl the last over. Sian Price is on strike. As the field is just a few changes made in the covers, and short mid-wicket. 3 on the ropes, 4 on the ropes. Now everybody satisfied, and Potgieter runs in, bowls to Price outside the off stump. It's hit down the ground. It's not going to bisect the 2 fielders. The mid-on fielder runs round, and they get through for 2 runs. It's a good start to the over.
Good looking shot too.
109 for 4. Price has shown herself to be quite willing to go for her shots so far. She's made 11 off just 10 balls. Taking a positive approach. Potgieter. That's hit nicely out on. Is that going to go for 4? Not quite. No, it's well fielded. A scrambling stop on the boundary at deep mid-wicket by Clark. And again, 2 runs to Price. So that's 4 in 2 balls off this over. 111 for 4. Potgieter bowls. Price gets hold of that one, but there's no run into the short mid-wicket field position. Well fielded. Price slightly reaching for that one and didn't get any power into the shot. So she's ready to face the next delivery, which she hits hard on the offside this time. It's running away to be fielded by the deep cover running in. They're going to get through for another 2. So that's 3 2s in this over so far. What they'd give for a boundary or 2 off the last 2 deliveries, I can't say, but that's certainly what Price's intention will be. She's played a very good knock at the end of this innings. Potgieter bowls again. That's another firmly hit shot, but another single down to mid-on, and that will give the strike back to Kite, who will face the last ball of the innings. It's 114 for 4. It's a respectable score. We'll give the bowlers something to bowl at. but perhaps they've been a few boundaries short of what they might have hoped for, particularly given that they've only lost the 4 wickets. So mid-off is going out to the boundary for this last ball, and that's just hit out into the covers, where it's thrown in, misses the stumps, but stopped, no overthrows, and they just get the single. So that is the end of the MCC innings. It's 115 for 4, the final total. Price is not out on 16. Kite is not out on 3. The top scorer was Porter with 33. Trussler made 29, and Hill, the opening bat, made 22. We saw some good bowling from the services team. Worsfold took 2 wickets, Vagus-Webb took 1, and Potgieter also took 1. So it's a total where they're certainly game on, but as I said, I think MCC might have hoped for a little more if they'd been able to find the boundary more often. So Nick, how do you see the position at the halfway stage?
It's very difficult for us to know, not knowing these teams, of the quality of batting. That's a nice touch. I'm just watching the armed forces just going off, and they're just both teams actually just applauding each other as they run off the pitch, and that's lovely to see. Yeah, so 115 for 4, and as you'd expect with women's cricket, not necessarily bowlers with that ability to really
Thanks to our commentators there from the MCC. We are in the mid-innings break here between the UK Armed Forces and the MCC Women. Of course, it is history being made today. It's the first time that a military women's side has been allowed and invited to play on this main pitch. The MCC came out and they were finished on 115 for 4. So it'd be good to see some big hitters from the UK Armed Forces team take on that score. Now, over the years, this fixture here at Lord's has always raised money for military charities, and they take it in chunks. They normally have a 3-year chunk of this fixture benefiting them. This year's beneficiary is Combat Stress, and they have been for the last 3 years of this fixture. And I'm joined by their Director of Fundraising, Robert Marsh, with me here today. Robert, as the PA cuts in there, yes, classic, but we do have a microphone, we'll be fine. Just tell us, first of all, what is the benefit of you being the beneficiary of this great fixture here at Lord's?
Well, I mean, there are a number of benefits. The principal one is that we're raising money, so that's absolutely great. People are being very generous as they pass our stand. We've got a little stand at the Grace Gate, so that's fantastic. The other thing which is equally as important is raising awareness of combat stress and the work that we do with the veteran population. And of course, you know, people that are here have an intrinsic interest in that, because it is an armed services fixture, and it's tri-service, and we're tri-service. So there's a whole range of benefits for us being associated, so it's great.
We hear a lot, especially in our job as sports reporters with working with veterans, we hear a lot about sports recovery. I assume that's a large part of your programme. Do you encourage some of your veterans and beneficiaries to play sport, to sort of help them in their recovery?
Not really. There are other military charities that do that, and do that very, very well and specifically. But we're increasingly thinking about exercise as being part of the solution, and of course everybody knows that it's good for well-being and all those sorts of things. So, you know, if people are inspired to get involved in a sport, having seen this, or even just going out for a walk, it's a lovely day, and why wouldn't you want to? So yeah, any movement or increased movement is good. A healthy body equals a healthy mind, so all good.
I spoke in the introduction to you about the fact that you think it's a really good system whereby the charities benefiting from this day have a 3-year chunk, and explain to us as a director of fundraising why that's more beneficial than just having a different one every year.
Well, it just means you can get used to the system, and you know in the first year there are things that you probably do wrong or you could do better, and then the second year you can improve upon that, and in the third year you're probably at your peak. And constantly chopping and changing is it's just not optimal, and so having a 3-year run at an event like this is I would argue the best way of doing it. Of course, we've had COVID, so there was a year where it didn't happen at all, and then we're all in Arundel last year, which was great. Never been there before, lovely ground. But yeah, I mean, Lord's being the mecca of cricket is where it's at, though, isn't it? Really, so great to be here.
But important to say, someone in your position doesn't need to enjoy or love cricket to come here and enjoy and love the cricket. You know, it's a day for everyone. I'm just thinking in years to come, it would be nice to see, you know, the sort of crowds that we get at Army Navy, for example.
Exactly, and the Army Navy has also had its peaks and troughs of crowds, and they've got something right, and the tickets arguably sell out within minutes when they go live. The cricket here has been phenomenal. There was a catch in the ladies' game just now, where like juggling it. I mean, really, really good cricket. And it is a shame that so many of the stands are empty, because the standard of cricket is so good. And of course, what's happened last week with the English Test side has, you know, ignited that interest in cricket again. So if we could do something to lift the gate at this game, it would be fantastic.
And if you could just finally give us an example of an individual who's going to benefit from the fundraising you've done around this fixture, what sort of things would we be looking for someone who's a member of Combat Stress, and how they will benefit from it?
I think the simple thing to say is that our programmes and our treatments and our offer are often seen as life-changing, but in some circumstances they are absolutely life-saving, and that's really important. So if a veteran is struggling, or you know a veteran is struggling, there is lots of self-help stuff on our website, so that's combatstress.org.uk, or there's our helpline, which is 0800 138 1619. Just remember that one? Yeah.
You are a cricket fan, you know, I know that you take an interest, so I'm just going to ask you a cricket question. What do you see? We're mid-innings here. Do you think that's 115 is enough? Do you think the UK Armed Forces women can come back? And also, how do you see the final match between the Army and the RAF going?
Yeah, that is a question. Thanks for that one. Well, no, some of the earlier matches where they were losing wickets early on for quite low scores and then came back. I think actually this is the great thing about this format, is that it is so interesting. It is great fun to watch. So actually, I can't give any prediction at all. What I would say is, though, the cricket is great. Look for the fixture next year, and do come along, because it is fantastic.
Robert Marsh, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank
Director
you.
of Fundraising of Combat Stress, who of course will be benefiting from this day here at Lord's, and we'll obviously see you in years to come, and other charities will benefit also. We are at the mid-innings break here between the UK Armed Forces Women and the MCC. It's 115 for 4 was set by the MCC, so the military team, the MCC, and we'll see if the UKAF ladies can beat that. Back to the commentary team. join us back here. Okay. Welcome back to Lords, here we are, and welcome back to me. I'm really sorry, we've just got an added bonus that I wanted to bring you ahead of the second half of this match. We've got the Army captain with us, Jay Boynton. Jay, the girls are on their way out again, but if you could just quickly tell us how confident you're feeling ahead of the last match. You up against the RAF, that seems to be the rivalry at the moment. How confident are you feeling?
Yeah, very confident, and we've had some great form leading up to the inter-services, so we're very confident as always, but sometimes on the big occasion it's cricket's a magical game, so we'll see what happens on the final game.
If I could make a criticism of the first game, you have got some big hitters in your side, but you know they weren't as expansive as they thought. Was that the Royal Navy bowling? What was it? We sort of thought that we see a few more fireworks, but were you just playing it cool for the first game?
Yeah, I just said while having lunch in the players' lounge, we didn't get really out of second gear, if I'm being totally honest, especially leading up to it. We've been having big totals, we've been scoring 200, and then you've got 172, which I had to come in there. I don't want to bat anymore, but I've had to bat today. But yeah, hopefully there's fireworks in this game, because the talent that I have in my squad is phenomenal.
And do you think the RAF obviously beat the Royal Navy on Tuesday night, but only by 3 runs? You know, the Navy were pretty close. Does that give you a good idea of where the Royal Air Force are at, or do you just play your own game?
No, we just play our own game, and I think if the toss is vital, I think obviously the decision to bat first, I think both teams will want to do that. So if that happens, and then we put a good total on runs on the board, always going to do all right at Lords.
Does it help being at Lords? Does it inspire people? Does it make the big hitters want to get those 6s and those 4s, or does it sort of make people a bit worried about going for the big hits as well?
I think it's a bit of both. I said to my lads this morning, I said, express what you've got. It's another game of cricket. Yes, we're at the home of cricket, of course we are, but just play how you've been doing all season. So hopefully they can do that in the final game and see where we go. Well,
thank you very much, Jay. Thank you for joining us just as the ladies were coming out, and we'll speak to you, I'm sure, after the final game at some point. And we'll cut back to the MCC commentators for today as we join the second half of the MCC against UK Armed Forces Women.
Been a very good day so far. Lots of good cricket, competitive, and good to see a nice crowd in as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, probably one of the biggest crowds we've had for an MCC match, I would say, this year.
That's great. Very good news all round that they've got some good cricket to watch, some good weather, and the teams have got plenty of people supporting them. So the opening bats are Cant and Clark. I'll give you some facts on them. Connie Cant from the Royal Artillery, and scored 100 in her time, and apparently her claim to fame is she's met the Queen's corgis. So
not bad. I'm sure that's...
Or have I got the wrong Cant? We've got 2 Cants in the team. That's what's confused me.
Yes, I think we might have Georgie.
Yeah.
Her claim to fame is saying she's the better twin, in brackets, ponytail twin.
So there's our clue. As first ball is delivered and played into the offside, it's Kite opening the bowling
Amelia
for the
Kite,
MCC.
I believe. I know she featured here on MCC Women's Day as well.
Very good. So for the MCC women's team, how often will they get to play at Lords, and how often are they away fixtures? Is it?
So it's quite a mixture.
And that ball is a full one. Didn't quite know where that went. It was a full-length ball, and just squeeze out into the offside, and there's no run.
So I believe this is probably their at least the third match of the year here at Lords. MCC Women's Day is, of course, their big event. So this year there were 3 T20s. That was a great opportunity for lots of the playing members to get a go here at Lords.
That delivery from Kite is full and driven. They're going to take a single here. They have to hurry, and they're going to be okay. Cant is off the mark, and it's 1 without loss.
So some of the matches also played around the country as well. I believe they've got a couple of tours. I think there might be one to Scotland and Ireland, I want to say. They do try and get tours in as well, like the MCC men as well.
That's great. And Kite continuing. It's a full-length ball driven into the offside. Clark is quick to call no and send back Cant, as that goes out to the fielder in the covers, and there's no run.
But lots of these players won't have played with each other before because, well, you don't get to train really as a team except till you turn up on the day.
Kite again. That's a full ball whacked into the leg side for 4, 1 bounce. Clark got hold of that. It was a full toss by the time it reached her, and it was a fine stroke. Went between the fielders on the leg side boundary, and Armed Forces are up to 5 without loss. Just over pitch slightly there, Kite.
Yeah, she bowled really well up to that one, but the odd loose ball and over. I don't think you can be too disappointed with yourself. You've just bowled one loosener.
Exactly, and it's very easy if you drift onto leg stump to go for a boundary on that short boundary side. So she's in again, last ball of the over from the pavilion end. That's played defensively into the offside. It's a better ball, and it's fielded, and there's no run. 5 off the first over. Clark on 3, Gabriella Clark and Georgia Kant are the 2 Armed Force batters. So how many fixtures will most of the MCC women have a chance to play each year? Is it a strict rotation, or how do they?
It's not a strict rotation. It's done a lot on availability. So the fixtures go out, so they're all organised by the cricket office. And it's, if you're available, then you put your name down, and then depending on the match, I think it sometimes even goes up to committees, and they decide on who will play. So most people, if they're available, might play sort of maybe 3 to 6 matches a year. It does vary a lot. So sometimes people might pick up an injury. And for MCC Women's Day, there were a few professionals playing as well. So candidates will also be featuring. I'm not sure if we might have some candidates playing here today. So those are playing well, they aim to be playing members of MCC.
Okay.
But they're not yet. So they have to play a certain number of matches each year.
Right, looks like we've got a bit of leg spin here. That first ball from Smith is pulled into the leg side, but only as far as the fielder. If I called that right, Georges, do you know if Marilyn Smith is a leg spinner? Does that look?
Certainly look like it. Yeah, I would.
Opening with some leg spin. Excellent. There we go. That one's given some air. That's hit. Comes a full toss. It's gone up in the air. Could be a catch here. Oh, it's just gone over the fielder at mid-on, and they're going to take 2 runs. Didn't quite get a hold of that, but actually, no. Sent back for the 3rd. It's just going to be 2. Smith just over pitched slightly there.
I think the fielders need to be alert here, because with some loopy leg spin, catches are definitely going to come about.
Absolutely. Here's the next one. That one's a good ball, good length ball, just played back defensively to the bowler. And Smith's field, she's got 4 inside the circle on the leg side, 1 out on the boundary at deep square leg, and 1 on the boundary at extra cover, and then 3 inside the circle on the offside. And this next ball is pulled around the corner and well fielded by a fielder at short fine leg there, who was Kite. Nicely done. So just 2 off the over so far from Smith, and Kant is on 3. She's facing now. One again pulled around the corner. She got hold of that one. That's going to run away up the hill for 4. It's a good shot down on one knee, and there it goes across the boundary rope now. 4 runs to Kant, and score goes on to 11. Just dropped a bit short there, didn't she? And it allowed her time to pull around the corner. So she's got 1 ball left in her first over. Just checking the field. Put that fielder a bit squarer on the leg side. That's a full toss. That's going to get hit again. Pulled right the way around the corner by Kant, almost into the hands of the fielder at short fine leg, but it's just got to the boundary now, so you can hear from the cheers. And it's 4 more to the Armed Forces total. They've raced on to 15 without loss of 2 overs. 10 off that over from Smith. Couple of full tosses that, well, a couple of full tosses that got hit, and then 1 short one that got turned around the corner. Good start for the Armed Forces.
It is indeed. They made the most of that over of leg spin, and have now jumped up above the required run rate with 7.5, and they're requiring just 5.6 and over.
Yeah, they're ahead on that count for sure. And do we think we'll see a second over of leg spin? I don't know. It's often, seen as quite an interesting way to open the bowling in a T20, take the pace off the ball, and maybe if Smith can get her radar tuned in a little more, we'll see a second over. But it's going to be Kite to continue from the pavilion end with a bit of medium pace. That's a good ball, played forward and defensively by Clark to the offside, and there's no run.
I think MCC will be looking to build those dot balls, having had a bit of a loose over before. They need to bring that required run rate up.
Indeed, it's below 6 at the moment as Kite comes in from the pavilion end. That ball's round the leg side. It's helped round the corner nicely by Clark, and the fielder's not quite going to get there. Down on one knee, and that's 4 runs. Ran away down the hill very quickly. Just drifted, as you can do bowling from the pavilion end, down the leg side slightly. It's a good shot.
You could tell the supporters here were appreciative of that, the ripple of applause that went round the ground.
Yeah, you can really hear the chatter, the afternoon chatter from the crowd, which is lovely. This Kite comes in again. Ball is driven firmly past the fielder in the ring, and they're going to get at least one here as Clark's hit that into the offside. They're going to come back for a second now, quite comfortably. And Clark moves on to 10 off just 6 balls, and the score 21 without loss. It's a fast start for the Armed Forces team here. So Kite, what can she do to rein this rate back in? She's up to the stumps now. That's a ball hit up in the air. It just hasn't quite gone to hand. It's been unlucky there for the MCC. That was miss-hit by Clark.
Well, that was one of those half chances, but Kite goes back to her mark. Just thinks she was on top of the batter there, so hopefully for her she can get one over her this time.
Another day that would have gone to hand as she comes in again. It's a full ball on leg stump. That's hit high, high, high. It's going to go over the fielder on mid-wicket for 6. That was a full toss that was given the treatment by Kant. Goodness me, she hit that well. And the fielder at deep mid-wicket was eyeing it up but couldn't get close to that. It was well over her head and into the stands. What a shot.
Fantastic. It even pushed the seat down a bit there as it was hit into just the edge of the tavern stand just below where the scorer's box is.
So 28 without loss. Last ball of the Kite over. Driven firmly into the offside. Has beaten the fielder. That's going up the hill. That may just get to the boundary. We'll see. In the meantime, they've run 2. It's just going to pull up. Oh, just got there. Just had enough to get to the boundary. And that's up the hill to a long boundary. That's a great shot. So the Armed Forces are racing away here. 32 without loss off 3 overs. Kant 21 off 11. Clark 11 off 7. Now, what do you do now for the MCC? Who do you bring on to bowl?
Oh, well, I think you're going to have to go for a new bowler. I don't think you can afford another over of leg spin. I think who will they look to bring on?
Yes, they'll be looking for something to try and contain these two who've gone out the blocks pretty aggressively and defend that short boundary, which has been problematic so far. Right, we have got to change a bowler by the sound of it.
It's not always easy to hear the PA announcements though from up here in the media centre, so at the moment we'll just watch the bowlers and maybe some senior players move the field around.
Indeed, let's see. It looks like it might be
Water.
a bit of medium pace again. The leg spin experiment has been postponed for the time being. Oh no, hang on, let's have a look. It's not a very long run up. Porter. You spotted it, you're ahead of me, Georgia. Gemma Porter, who opened the batting nicely, I think, for the MCC, didn't she? So,
and she plays for Hampshire.
very good. Right, so a bit of spin. Let's see what sort of spin it is. She comes up now. And it's given some air. It's helped round the corner. And they scamper a quick single. Good piece of fielding there from fine leg.
And then nicely backed off in the field as well.
Neatly done by the MCC in the field there. So that brings Kant back onto strike. She's on 21 off 11. Eyeing up that short boundary. They've got 4 inside the circle on the offside. So got a bowl to that field. That's nicely bowled. It's played defensively by Kant. And they've got 2 out on the boundary on the leg side. That's where they put the people outside the circle to defend that leg side boundary. So that makes sense for the off spin of Porter. It's in again now to the wicket, giving that one some flight. Nicely bowled, nicely played. A little bit of control here, and that impact of getting through the over quickly and how that can help just hassle the batsman through the over without scoring as many.
Does indeed, and then it just gets MCC that bit closer, possibly to getting a wicket.
That one swept. It's got a top edge, but it hasn't gone to hand. It's gone behind over the keeper's head. Fine leg is giving chase. They're going to get 2 here. And Kant was a little bit lucky there. And Porter will be encouraged by that. She'll be happy to see the batters try and sweep.
Yeah, she would indeed. It's one of those that if you had a few more runs on the board, you wouldn't mind if those shots were played more frequently.
This one's a shorter ball, just turn around the corner gently by Kant. There's some confusion over the run, but they go through in the end for the single. 36 without loss off 3.5 overs. So the rate is still very high, 9.4. The required rate is 5. Clark is on strike to this last ball of the Porter over. That's pulled hard round the corner, just drifted the line there, and the fielder on the leg side boundary is not going to get there. That's gone for 4. And Porter will be disappointed because that was a pretty tidy over up until then, and now she finds herself with 1 over for 8 runs. The score after 4 overs is 40 without loss. We don't need the scoreboard to work out the run rate there, but Gant 24, Kant 24 and Clark 16. I will leave you now, Georgia, to give us a view of where we are, and Nick's going to step in for commentary.
Thank you very much. So it looks like we're having another change of bowling, so it won't be Amelia Kite from the pavilion end. I'm going to have a guess and say it looks like it might be Danny Warren, but I will wait for confirmation from the scoreboard before I give any more information on Danny Warren if I'm indeed correct.
Hi, Georgia.
Welcome, Nick. How are you?
Very well, very well. Look, what a great start to this Armed Forces reply. Racing away, 40 for no loss, just off 4 overs. Really made a dent in this total very, very quickly, and asking questions of MCC and how they can reply. And yeah, as you say, I think we've got a...
It is Danny Warren.
Danny
Warren.
Warren.
Danny Warren is Regional Director of Women's Cricket at Sunrisers, and that's one of the regional teams in the women's professional setup here.
Very good. Well, she's in now, up to the stump. She bowls, flighted delivery, and it's turned into the leg side well by Kant. She's going to get 1. They'll think about the second, but they decide not as the throw comes in from the boundary. But 1 more to the total, 41 for no loss. Have you seen Danny Warren play before?
I have indeed. So Danny Warren used to play for Middlesex, was one of the Middlesex stalwarts really. Only retired maybe 4 or 5 years ago. It was a fairly recent retirement.
Got it. Well, she's in now, bowls, and that just goes through on the offside, and Clark happy to offer no stroke. So the dot ball. Haven't been that many of those in the last little while.
No.
That's where she comes in, and flighted delivery is up in the air. This could be out. There's a fielder underneath it, but it's just evaded her as she was running back, and they're able to scamper through for a single. That looked as though that could have been the breakthrough that MCC so badly needed, but just evading the clutches of the fielder at mid-wicket. As Warren bowls, there's another flighted delivery. Nice looking shot from Clark, but she won't get anything for it. She set it very firmly straight up to the fielder. I think it's Kite at mid-on. And so the score remains 42 for no loss. I'll get more from you in a second, Georgia, on Warren and her cricketing track record. As this one, it's shortish outside the off stump, and Kant just rocks back and punches it through the offside, and there's a misfield. So she's going to get 2 runs. It looks like they come back for 3 as the throw comes in. They do indeed. So score moves on to 45 for no loss. Kant herself is on 28 of just 18 deliveries, and that brings Clark onto strike. She's 17 not out as this delivery, she pushes out into the offside, and it's fielded in the covers. There's a possible hint of a run out actually, as Kant was a little bit over eager and found herself fairly far advanced down the pitch before she was sent back by Clark, but in the end, no danger. She got home safely, so that is the end of over number 5, and 45 for no loss, so easy maths. 9 5s are 45, so 9 run rate of 9 and over, as against a run rate, I think I'm right in saying, was it just shy of 6, I think, is about 115, wasn't it? So is the total required.
Yeah, I mean, that overbrought the run rate, brought the Armed Forces run rate down by 1 run, so I suppose MCC can be pleased with a bit of control there.
As it's Porter continuing now from the nursery. Nice flated delivery, and it's just squirts out from the edge of Kant's bat into the vacant third man area, and they scamper through for actually what a fairly straightforward single for 46 for no loss. At the moment, the Armed Forces firmly in control. Nice looking delivery from Porter, but it's turned into the leg side, and fielder comes in. I don't know who the fielder is. Do you know who the fielder is down there from the MCC? Anyway, it's just the single, so 47 for no loss.
It's hard to identify when they don't have any names on the back, but
Porter, nice delivery and a nice looking shot from Kant, but she won't get anything for it. She just picks out the fielder at extra cover. So a dot ball. Kant remains 29 not out, and this one, well, that must have been close to a wide, not signalled, so in many ways well judged by Porter, but Kant decided not to play at it.
Maybe thinking it was a wide.
No, I think that's right. So, and this one is going to be a couple of runs here, I think, or maybe just the single. They'll think about the second. They are going to come back for the second. They'll have to hurry, as that ball was pulled into the leg side by Kant. Just evaded the fielder. I think it's Chowdhury who's at fine leg, and they were able to score 2. So 49 for no loss. Kant moving on to 31. This final delivery of Porter's second over, nicely flighted, but there's going to be at least another single here. Carbon copy shot as it's pulled out into the leg side, but the fielder was quickly round, and so 1 more to the total, and that brings up the 50, a partnership of 50, and Kant is on 32, Clark on 18. That's just come off just 36 balls, so a really terrific start for the UK Armed Forces Cricket Club in reply to the MCC's 115.
It is indeed, and you're almost at the point where you wonder if they've thought about having to retire anybody to make sure everybody gets to go here.
Well, I suppose that's a good point, isn't it? Because it's not a competitive fixture.
No, it's very much, I would say, about everybody enjoying their day out here at Lord's, really. Getting the chance to say you've batted here at Lord's as well. Looks like we've got Warren to continue from the pavilion end as well.
Yes, so tell us a bit more about Danny Warren and her.
So her last match actually for Middlesex was back in 2015, but she had been playing there for over 10 years and was used to open the bowling.
Okay.
And sort of was maybe in her early days might have been more medium fast, then at the end was medium, but was always very useful. And then she moved from playing into working here at Lord's for MCC and Middlesex as head of women's cricket. And then when the regional setup was formed, she
comes in now, bowls, and there's an appeal for leg before, and it's getting given. Kant is out for 32. It was a floated delivery from Warren. I would think that was as plumb as it comes. She can't look to turn it into the leg side. She missed, struck her probably in front of middle stump. I would think about 2 inches up on the pad, and the finger went straight up. So Kant departs, LBW Warren for a very, very high quality 32. And, well, MCC have got the breakthrough they so badly needed.
Will it be one of those days where 1 brings 2? I'm not sure, but it will be interesting to see how Pop Geeta goes facing Warren, because Potgieter played county cricket and actually still does for Berkshire, so Middlesex and Berkshire have come up against each other a lot. And Potgieter, for those of you out there who will know the name, would have played alongside Heather Knight a fair amount there at Berkshire, and probably Isha Guha as well.
Right. And have you watched her Potgieter play?
I have probably not for... actually, she played a few matches earlier on in the season. I would say she was used to be more of a bowler, but I think she can get some handy runs, and actually she's here at 3, so must have done well in training.
Got it. Well, that was the key breakthrough that was required. So, yeah, Potgieter has taken guard. She's surveying the field. And Warren, buoyed by the breakthrough, she's on her way in now. Up to the start bowls, flighted delivery, nicely punched down the ground by Potgieter to get off the mark. It will just be the single as the fielder from long off comes in. And that takes the total to 51 for 1. Just to tell you what is coming, very shortly, I think Georgia will exit the summarizer's chair, and we will have a new guest. I will tell you in a second about this one from Warren is just pushed out to the offside. They think about a single as a little misfield, but there was nothing on. So we will have Private Jake Benson, who is a physio, a sports therapist for the Army, will come and tell us a lot more about some of the Armed Forces players. As this one, there's some runs here. It's a nice looking shot from Clark out into the leg side, offside, and come back for a second as the throw comes in. Clark dived. I'm not sure she really needed to, but she made doubly certain of getting to her ground. So she moves on to 20, and the total 53 for 1.
Yeah, she might be determined to carry her bat here at Lord's. Doesn't want to be sitting in the dressing room watching.
And why not? She now is ready to face this Warren delivery. And she goes aerial. She could well be caught. She is indeed caught. It was a leading edge. It popped out into the offside. And it was a very, very straightforward catch. We'll find out shortly who the fielder was. But the summarizer's curse on that one.
Yes, I think so. I won't be welcome to speak with any of their players.
But that's the second wicket down for the Armed Forces. They're 53 for 2. And, well, as you said, 1 can lead to 2.
You can indeed. I suppose it's that sort of nagging pace from Warren that you probably think you should be able to get away, but actually that's the pace that often brings about the wickets, and we've seen that's what Warren has done here, taking 2 in the over. She's still got 1 delivery to come.
Good. So it's
Porter who took that catch, Porter of Hampshire.
So this is where you can help me. So we've now got a new batsman in.
And this looks like it is going to be Connie Cant.
Connie Cant.
Connie is the one who's met the Queen's Corgis.
Right.
And her cricketing hero is Charlotte Edwards.
Very good. Well, she's making her way to the popping crease now, just taking her guard. As MCC will feel right back in this now. They can maintain this momentum. A terrific start for the Armed Forces. Made a big dent in this total. But let's see anyway. It's Warren in for the final delivery of the second over. And, well, there's an appeal for leg before, and she's given. Extraordinary over.
Well,
absolutely extraordinary. 3 wickets in that Warren over.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if did we have any runs? I think we had 1 run at the start of the over. 3 wickets for 1 in that over. Came in, tried to turn it into the leg side, missed. Peel for leg before, finger up. 53 for 3, game on.
It is indeed, and now MCC are on top. They've pushed up the... Oh no, actually the rate required is still 4.9, but...
Tell you what, Georgia, I'm just going to interrupt you because we have Jake Benson here. He's only got 15 minutes with us.
In that case,
so
I will make my departure.
Thank you very much indeed for joining us. You've got to go back and work now, haven't you?
I do indeed.
Yeah.
Enjoy your afternoon.
Very good.
Thank you.
Excellent. Jake, welcome to the Summarisers chair.
It's a great view from up here, isn't it?
It's fantastic. Have you ever been here before?
Never been to Lord's, first time ever.
Never been to Lord's, and you're in the hallowed, the best view.
Well, I've just taken a picture and sent it to a few of my friends, and I think they're quite jealous at the minute.
Very good. Well, while the batsmen are coming to the crease, you can tell me. So you are a physio, sports therapist for the army.
So I've just started doing it for army cricket. I actually play as well for the development side. In my civvy job, I'm a sports therapist, and then I'm a reservist with the RLC as a driver. But this opportunity came along, and I can't really say no to it.
And so you now, so basically this what kicks in all year round, or this?
No, I do a variety of stuff with the reserve. So I do quite a lot of community engagement stuff.
Right.
Obviously, the various training that we have to do, and then it'll just be for kind of events where I'll work with the team. Anything that they need, I can do to support. It's a real bonus. So
fantastic.
That I'm enjoying.
Really great. And so you probably don't know that much about the women's team, or do you?
No, I don't know particularly a lot about them. I've seen some of them because we kind of cross paths when we're training. But now I'm looking forward to the rest of this run chase, because it's just got quite interesting now.
It's definitely got interesting. It really has. And we've got change of bowling at the nursery end. So Trussler is coming on. Trussler, who batted brilliantly at number 3, I think scored 29 off about 25, 26 deliveries, something like that. So she's going to come on. We've got Pot Geeta, who is ready to face. She's on 1 from just having faced 1 ball now. As Trussler comes in, nice looking delivery, turned into the leg side. They're going to go for a quick single, which they are able to get as the ball just trickles out into the leg side. So 54 for 3, Pot Geeta moving on to 2. That brings Baggers Webb on to strike. And she's taking her guard now. And yeah, as Jake's just said, we've got terrific. The game is very, very nicely poised now. So it's amazing how cricket can change that quickly. 3 wickets in and over.
Well, if you look at it, it was Broad here a few weeks ago, 3 wickets in and over.
You're right. That's right. The famous team hat trick, exactly. So in comes Trussler, and a nice flighted delivery beats. Beautiful delivery. Looks as though it's just a bit of leg spin, just moved.
Superb action. I wish I could bowl like that.
It's terrific, wasn't it? As Baggers Webb, with her first ball, came forward and it just reaching for it a bit, and it just spun past the outside edge. And she comes in again and bowls, and this one Baggers Webb goes back and just plays it down the pitch. And Trussler fields off her own bowling, so a dot ball, but it's amazing how the momentum shifts from one side to the other. And this one is just pushed out into the offside by Baggers Webb. She'll get off the mark. They think about a second. They are going to come back for a second, actually. Probably, I wonder if the arm for the MCC could have been slightly quicker on the fielding there. But anyway, they weren't. So 2 more to the score, 56 for 3. As Trussler's ready. She comes in off a very short run up. And there was appeal for leg before. I think it just pitched outside leg. But Trussler definitely causing some problems. She's got lovely flighted delivery, and then just that leg spin, and she is getting a little bit of purchase. So final delivery of her over, and well, there's appeal for leg before. Vicious appeal for leg before. They're running through anyway for a leg by, which they do get. Trussler's looking at the umpire. That must have been very, very close. I just wonder, did it just pitch outside leg?
I think the umpires thought that the batsman hit it, because she didn't
signal.
by.
You're right, she didn't.
But if she didn't hit it, then it looked very, very, very out.
So that's the end of the over. 57 for 3 is your score. You're absolutely right. Baggers Webb has been credited with another run. So Jake, so you're a cricketer yourself?
Yeah. So I play up in Lincolnshire for a team called Lindham. I know people here can't actually see me, but I'm 6'6" and bowl off spin, so that
is that right?
That creates quite a lot of talk normally.
And how did, just briefly, we've got before this, how did you get into the physio?
I was actually working in aerospace, and then during COVID I decided to retrain, because where I was working wouldn't actually let me commit the days to the reserves, so I decided I want to work for myself. So I retrained during COVID and then opened my own business, and now I get the opportunity to do things like this, which is fantastic.
Very good. That first delivery from this next Warren over is outside the off stump, and straight through to the wicket-keeper, no run. And so it's always the challenge of having someone new, just because the game moves so quickly. This Warren delivery just played straight down the pitch, and no run. And so you're then working with the Army players, and I guess Hodgson.
Yes.
Great bowler. I imagine you've got quite a lot of work to do to make sure he's in prime condition.
Well, the thing with Connor is his nerves were the thing that he needed to control this morning. He was very, very nervous, but you wouldn't have guessed that by the way he bowled. It was some opening spell of bowling.
Not at all. It's just a single knocked into the leg side by Vagger's Webb, so 58 for 3. Nervous because absolutely. I mean, he bowled like a god.
Yeah, he bowled really well.
Yeah. So it's Warren bowling to Potgieter, who's got a thickish outside eggs, and they're going to run through for a single. They'll think about a second, but won't come through for it. So 59 for 3. Is that so he gets nervous a lot, or is it just the Lord's occasion? Where
I think it was possibly just the occasion, because when I've seen him before, he's not being nervous. But I mean, every kid grows up probably wanting to play at Lord's, and then we was just having a discussion on the balcony earlier of one other ground that you want to play at, and it's the MCG. So if you think of the two most famous grounds in cricket, they're the two, and to make your debut at Lord's is something that only dreams are made of, really.
Really is, yeah. That was just another dot ball from Warren as it was played up to mid-on and no run. And well, I'll ask you in a second for who's the player in the Army that you work hardest on for their fitness, and that one's another dot ball pushed firmly up the pitch by Vagger's Webb, but well fielded by Warren off her over. So a nice toady over from Warren. She's got 3. It's a third over, 3 for 10 at this point. So terrific bowling figures. But yeah, the player that you're in the Army that you're the fitness you have to work hardest on.
So there's a guy called Denson Narayan. Everyone calls him Spice. He's always wanting taping or some kind of treatment, but I mean his body's actually in a really good condition. He just struggles a bit with aches and pains. So he's the one that requires the most work. But to be honest, all the lads kind of know what they need, and they'll just come and grab me and say, "Can you do this?"
Right.
I go, "Yeah," and then it'll be fairly quickly, and then move on to someone else.
And who's the one you have to watch more of the diet? You know, it's just sort of not quite.
The diet.
I just finished this ball. This is Trussler, and that first is a dot ball as it turned into the leg side by Potgieter, but no run.
Yeah, I don't particularly watch the diets of the lads.
You don't get it. Okay.
No, I'd probably get. They'd probably be judging me after the meal we had at lunch.
There's appeal for leg before on that delivery from Trussler, but the umpire is not interested. But nice tidy over so far, 59 for 3. The score remains. So you're just really focused on their all-round, the physique aspect of it.
Yeah, any injuries, any kind of niggles that they've got, I'll help treat them. But the nutrition kind of side of it is not something that we particularly put any kind of focus on. From my perspective anyway, it may be something that the coach looks at, but we're mainly just about getting cricket, playing to the best standard that we can, improving and enjoying it, which is what we aim to do.
There's going to be a run here as Potgieter pulls it into the Trussler into the leg side, down to deep square leg, and nice easy single. So that's 60 for 3. And your prognosis then for the key match now, RAF Army. Obviously, you'll expect the Army to win, but
yeah. So I think there's two very good sides coming up against each other. The RAF captain actually plays in my league, so I know.
There's a run here and a chance for a run out, but it's not being given. Great bit of fielding by the fielder at mid-on. They scamper through for a quick single. She threw down the stumps, but Potgieter was, I think it was Vagger's Webb actually, was just home. So one more to score for 61 for 3.
So I think the game will actually come down to early wickets. If either side makes early inroads, then I think they'll hold the upper hand, and hopefully it's the Army and we'll be able to enforce that. And
there's appeal for leg before wicket here as Trussler has got Pot Gita. It's been given. We are very definitely game on here. 61 for 4. Well,
yeah, the game's changed these last 3 or 4 overs, hasn't it?
It's changed since you've arrived in the commentary box, Jake. It was
I'll probably be getting called away soon.
It was only going one way before then. So yeah, very, very exciting phase. But tell me, so the key people from the Army. I mean, clearly Carmichael. We saw brilliant bowling, batting from him. We saw great bowling from batting from, I want to say Webster.
Wiseman.
Wiseman, yeah. Exactly. The openers look terrific as well. Fletcher and Barley.
Yeah, so the top 4 and 5 are very, very good players. I mean, Fletcher, he scored 120 in the week against Oxford University, and that's one of the best innings I've ever seen live. Varun Bali, I mean, we saw him hit one into the top tier here. That shows exactly what he can do. Tate he'll be happy that he got 60, but he'll be disappointed that he got out, and I can guarantee, knowing him, he'll want another 50, maybe more in the second innings. And I know Wiseman, he came off with 40 off about 25 balls, and he said he wasn't hitting it very well, and if I'd got 40 off 25 balls, I think I'd be hitting it well. So that shows the kind of levels that he's used to playing at.
And then we didn't see so much of Narayan, but he's a terrific talent as well, isn't he?
Yeah, with bat and ball, he's a very, very good talent.
Yeah, so it's a strong side, and I assume the sort of the money is on the Army as being but it's 2020, isn't it? So
yeah, anything can happen, as we've seen here.
As we're seeing.
The game's changed so quickly, and arguably the MCC are the favourites now.
It suddenly looks that way, doesn't it? I mean, we are literally, but it's bang on. I mean, we're what, 61 for 4. We're in the 11th over, so we're pretty well halfway. So yeah, this feels like it could go any way. But the key thing is who's going to get the runs, as we've got a new bowler. We've got Smith coming in, and this first delivery is going to be 4. It's whacked away by Vaggers Webb. It crosses the boundary rope through the covers now, just in front of the Warner stand, and that was much needed momentum. You do feel that Vaggers Webb is quite important to this.
She's going to be the key one here.
This armed forces reply. I don't know. The new bowler is, I think, is Marilyn Smith. She comes in and bowls, and that's the shortest delivery. It's pushed into the offside, but only far as the fielder at point, and another dot ball. So the score 65 for 4 in reply to the MCC women's total of 115. It's a beautiful day, sunshine streaming through. There are going to be runs here. Probably only one of them actually is hit very firmly out to the fielder, sweeping on the offside boundary by Vaggers Webb. So that will bring Dean to face her first ball. She's taking guard now.
I think she just needs to try and get Vaggers Webb back on strike.
That's what it feels like.
Majority of the scoring here.
That's what it feels like. The big thing we're talking about, I'll come back to this after this delivery, as well, she's done her job. She has got Vaggers Webb back on strike. I think that's actually been signalled as a wide as well. So there's there'll be 2 going on to the score as
extra run and extra ball could be crucial there.
Exactly. So 68 for 4. As Smith comes in and bowls, and it's pushed nicely by Vaggers Webb off the back foot into the leg side. They think about a second, but wisely Vaggers Webb actually sends Dean back. She was over eager on that. But so 69 for 4. And Jake, I'll come to you in a second. You can just tell us a bit more. We've talked a bit about the batsmen, and you tell us a bit more about the bowlers. As this one from delivery to Dean, she flashes outside the off stump, doesn't make contact, goes through to the wicket keeper. So the score remains 69 for 4. This will be the final delivery of Smith's second over. She's been a little bit expensive so far from she's 18 thus far, and that is indeed that delivery at dot ball. So 69 for 4 at the end of the 11th over. So so Jake, yeah, tell us a bit about the Army bowlers.
Yeah, so we're mainly a spin bowler attack. We've got 4 spinners: Yuri Hill, who opened bowling in the first game, Jay Boynton, Ross Dearden, and then Spice Narayan. And then we've got 2 seam bowlers: Nick Schofield, who bowls the middle overs, just tries to keep it tight. And then obviously we saw what Connor Hodgson can do in the first game. I'm sure he'll be hoping to do exactly the same in the second game, but I think we just try and get through our overs as quick as possible and create scoreboard pressure, and that brings wickets ultimately.
Very good, very good. So we've got Trussell, who's going to continue at the nursery end. This will be my last over, and then Jake, how are you doing on time? Have you got?
I think this will probably be my last over as well.
Okay, so we'll have a double change at the end of this, and a new team will come in as Trussell's up to the stump. She bowls, and it's just pushed out into the leg side by Vagas Webb. No run. And anything particularly impressed you about this game so far, Jake?
I actually think the standard of it is actually really good, and some of these some of the UKAF players hopefully will push into county setups, and then hopefully that'll provide a kind of a chance for people within the armed forces to progress the game further, and it provides the army with all the armed forces with a great recruiting tool as well, because if people see that they can get into county systems, get paid by the army, and get put on the elite scholarship program.
I'll just interrupt you there, Jake. We've got some runs coming. There's the firm push by Vagas Webb in the offside, and then a miss field. So they're able to come through for 2 runs, taking the score to 71 for 4. Keep going, Jake.
Yeah, so obviously the army can use that as a recruiting tool, or the whole armed forces. I keep saying army because that's what I'm used to saying.
It's true. So that's a great point. Trussell comes in, and this one she's just Vagas Webb off the back foot, forced out into the offside, and they'll come through for a single, 72 for 4. And you're a reservist, but living in Lincolnshire, or?
Yeah, so I live in Lincoln. My unit's actually based in Lincoln, and then I just travel around a lot at the minute playing cricket, and then obviously with my other reserve commitments doing the training weekends where possible. So it is a really good lifestyle.
So it does sound it does sound a very attractive lifestyle, I have to say. Yeah, it really does. So Trussell's in, and this one from Dean, who's yet to score, is dropped into the leg side, but there's no run. Any downsides that to make us all feel slightly better about our lives?
The one thing that does get to me is the travelling, because it's just so long in a car on your own. I think my closest game this year has been Blackpool, which is still 3 hours from Lincoln.
Okay.
So there's a lot of time in car, a lot of time at service stations, and then fuel prices at the minute, they're not the kindest either, so it can be, well, I do get my mileage, but still.
Very good. Well, this is the final delivery from Trussell in this over, and Dean comes very correctly forward, and it's fielded by Trussell off her own bowling. So that's the end of the 12th over. The score is 72 for 4. Jake, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you.
And sharing a little bit of insight into these 2 teams.
It's been enjoyable. I'm used to listening to Test Match Special on the radio, and now I'm kind of doing it for myself. So if they've got any jobs going, don't ask me, because I'm no good at it.
well, we're all quite interested in having your job, so yeah, really good. Thank you very much indeed.
Cheers.
And yeah, Jake Benson, who is the physiotherapist for the Army team. I will just stay on for a couple more deliveries, just so we get Avinash in to, well, I think to the commentary seat. And just while he's getting teed up, I'll just tell you, we've got Smith continuing, and this first delivery, she tried to pull it to the leg side, Vagas Webb, and miss, but it hit her pad, and they did scamper through for a single. And what I will do is hand over to Avinash now, as
the commentator, and it'll be Alan who will come in as summariser.
Well, how the game changes. The run rate is now 6 and over, and it was at one stage 10 and over. So things have now become far more even, and it's a fascinating stage that the game is at. 75 for 4, the Armed Forces, in response to MCC's 115. We're in the 13th over, and Smith is into her 3rd over from the pavilion end. So far 0 for 21. Hello, Alan.
Hello, Avinash, and yes, it's a great example of how these relatively low-scoring matches can be really tense affairs. Not many runs to win, 40 to win.
This next one is flighted up by Smith. I think the batter missed it completely, and the wicketkeeper just fields on the leg side. A glorious afternoon at Lord's. The next delivery comes in, and it's the batter tries to pull it onto the leg side. Oh, did it actually? Some suggestion that the bail didn't dislodge.
There was a bail on the ground, certainly, but it
I wonder why she's not out then.
doesn't seem to be any effect.
And that next one is driven out onto the offside. Fielder coming in from the extra cover boundary fields, and they run through for a quick single. Score goes up to 76 for 4. 77 for 4, I should say. Vaggers Webb is on 16 not out, and that is the end of the 13th over. Dean on 3.
Yes, so 39 more runs to win off 7 overs, 6 wickets in hand. It sounds easy, but
it's very possible.
Yep, the scoring rate required is more or less the rate they've maintained throughout the innings. So with those wickets in hand, you would imagine they would have a favourites chance in this game, but
we've seen even in the first game how things changed dramatically at one stage, and in this game that's happened as well, because they were going very well earlier on.
They got off to a great start.
So Trussler it is who's going to continue from the nursery end, and that ball is pulled out through mid-wicket for 4 runs by Vaggers Webb.
Yeah, Vaggers Webb was on to that very quickly, wasn't she? And
I think she's going to be a significant player in this match.
Yep.
She's well set. 20 runs off 23 deliveries. And the score moves on to 81 for 4.
And if they can score a boundary and over, then they will get home undoubtedly. So that's an excellent
2
start.
fielders on the leg side boundary as this next ball is comes in, and she seemed to miss it completely. Run.
She did. The keeper took the bails off then. Standing up to Trussler.
So 3 on the offside. And she comes again. Nicely flighted ball, which is played out on to mid-on. And they scamper through for a quick single. Fielding is quite sharp. On that occasion, the fielder returned the ball quite quickly. No question of a run out, though. 3 balls left in the over. Slight change to the field. The bowler is pushing back the square leg fielder onto the boundary there. And now she's ready to come in. Goes past the umpire. Right arm over. Pulled out through the mid-wicket area, and they come through for a single.
Good cricket from Dean there to get a single off the first ball she's faced in this over and give the strike back to Vaggers Webb, who's the batsman in control of this partnership.
So
Batter, sorry.
Vaggers Webb it is who will face. Again, a nicely flighted delivery. She plays it with respect out onto the offside defensively. Score stays at 83 for 4. One ball left in this over for Trussler. This is her last over. And that ball is played out onto the offside. And they take a quick single. So Webb moves on to 22 of 27 deliveries. And Trussler's figures 4 overs, 1 wicket for 16 runs. Good bowling.
Very good figures in the context of this match from Trussler, and they got 6 runs off that over, which is exactly what their target was. And Webb has retained the strike, so excellent cricket from the armed forces in that over, and the target remains very much achievable.
In fact, they're now slightly ahead of the required run rate, which is 5.3, and they're currently scoring at 6 and over. So it'll be Smith to finish off her quota of overs from the pavilion end. She's so far conceded 23 runs from her 3 overs. In she comes, and that is on the offside, and a wide is given by the umpire. The batter was stretching to get to that.
It's exactly what the MCC can least afford at this stage of the match.
In she comes again. That's a better ball, which is driven through mid-on. Fielder from long on comes in and fields, and they take a single. A fielder on the extra cover boundary. 3 fielders on the offside inside the circle. This next delivery is cut out onto the offside. They do come back for a second run. A nice throw coming into the keeper's gloves from the fielder on the cover boundary.
Very good cricket there. A good decision to go for the second run, and an extremely good throw, in fact, from the from the cover boundary fielder right over the stumps, and the keeper able to take the bails off.
And that, I think, was Kite fielding on the boundary there. Excellent throw. This next delivery is very wide on the offside, and the umpire immediately calls it as such. Quiet buzz around the ground. Everybody engrossed in this match, which is it's been a fascinating match. 89 for 4. This next this next ball was hit hard into the leg side. Fielder at short mid wicket should really have held it, but it was hit very hard, and she dropped it almost immediately.
Sometimes if the ball's hit straight at you, it can be difficult to get your hands in the right place, and that seemed to be what happened there.
Yeah. And the next one is just played out defensively onto the offside, and there is no run. 2 balls remaining in the over. 89 for 4 the score. Dean is on 6 and Webb is on 23. Next ball is played out onto the onside, and that's going to go through for 4 runs. Score will move on to 93 for 4. Dean is now into double figures, and she is 10 not out off 12 deliveries, and she will be facing the last ball of the over from Smith. Comes in now. That ball is played out into the offside. It was in the air for a while, but not in any danger. They come back for the second, which I think could have been avoided. I think they were a bit slow in the field there. Anyway, they get 2 runs. Dean moves on to 12. The score moves on to 97 for 4. Or is it 95? Sorry.
I think it's 95, yes.
He was quick on that occasion. 95 for 4. Webb will come on strike.
Well, that's a very good over for the armed forces there, with I think it was it 12 runs off the over, and Dean surviving that sharp chance where she hit the ball straight at the short mid-wicket fielder who couldn't get her hands on the ball, and Dean has now moved to 12 with that boundary immediately following that chance. So that's probably a crucial over in the context of the result of this match, with just another 21 runs now needed, and 5 overs to go.
So it looks like it's going to be Porter. Yes, Porter coming on from the nursery end.
I wonder when Warren is going to bowl her last over, with her figures of 3 for 10 at the moment from 3 overs. She's just got 1 over left. They won't want to waste that.
Now might not be a bad time. And that first ball from this new over is played out onto the offside, and they run through for a single. So 35 the partnership now. It's a good partnership, this. Dean comes on strike at 12 not out. The fielder from long off is gone. And that's a better delivery, a good length there, which is played watchfully and defensively out onto the offside by Dean. On the leg side we have 2 fielders on the boundaries, mid-wicket and square leg, and 1 here on the long on boundary. This next ball is flighted up and again watched carefully and played out on the offside with no run. She's bowling well, Porter. 14 runs off her 2.5 overs so far. Nice action. Again, nicely flighted ball which is played out onto the offside, a cut shot, and they come through for a quick single. Fielder at short mid-wicket and short fine leg. On the offside, backward point, short extra cover, and the next delivery is paid out through the covers where the fielder from the cover boundary comes in and fields. Again, they grab a single.
And they're quite happy now just to take the singles that are on offer.
Yes, no need to do anything else really.
They don't. The required rate's down to just over 4.
The last ball of the over is played out through mid-wicket for 4 runs. An absolute heave of a shot. No chance. The fielder stood no chance at all there. And that brings up the 100 for the armed forces. So 102 for 4. And that's come off 96 balls, was it?
Yeah, 16 overs, 96 balls. It's been an innings of 2 substantial partnerships, hasn't it? We've had the opening partnership at the beginning that got the armed forces off to such a great start, and then the innings rather subsided to 61 for 4. But now these two have put on 41 together. Baggerswebb 25 and Dean 17, both at good strike rates. Dean's going at 100, Baggerswebb at just over 80, and well, there's probably little doubt now about the result, with just 14 runs needed and 4 overs left.
So now Kite is going to be coming on from the pavilion end. She's bowled 2 overs already. No wickets for 22 runs. And this commentary is coming to you from the media stand here at Lord's, and also being broadcast on the British Forces Broadcasting Service on their YouTube channel. So wherever you are watching or listening, we hope you're enjoying the coverage. 102 for 4. Fielder at point on the extra cover boundary, mid-off. In comes Kite, right arm over the wicket, and the ball is straight driven back and fielded by the bowler off her own bowling. There is no run. That was hit back quite hard, and she managed to get a hand to it. Didn't quite stop it, but it didn't really go anywhere for them to take a chance of running. In she comes for the next ball. Again, that's played straight back at her, and another dot ball. Score remains on 102 for 4. On the leg side, there's a fielder on the long on boundary, a wideish mid-on the mid-wicket boundary, and a backward leg position. Next ball is played straight back to the bowler as well. Struggling to get Kite away.
Yes, it was a brave decision to bring Kite back, whose opening 2 overs were quite expensive at 22, but she's kept them quiet so far in this over.
Kite comes in from the pavilion end, and that's a fuller ball, which is given a wide by the umpire, wide outside the off stump. Score remains on 103 for 4. Vegas Webb, the senior partner of this partnership, is on strike, 25 not out, and this next ball is driven through extra cover, through mid-off, and they come through for 2 runs.
Nice shot by Vegas Webb there. Easy 2, well wide of the fielders.
And a couple of the fielders on the leg side have been pushed back onto the boundary, because I think Vegas Webb has made her intentions clear. And this next ball is driven by her through mid-on, and they take a quick single. It wasn't the best timed of all shots. I think she was actually trying to play that through mid-wicket, but they get a single anyway. 106 for 4.
And a chat between captain and bowler. Long on going out again. For Dean now on strike.
A big appeal, although the bowler wasn't interested. There was some shout from the wicketkeeper, I think, and they come through for a single, which is given as a leg by the umpire. 107 for 4. They probably don't need to do anything silly, because 3 overs still remaining, and 8 runs, 9 to win. Yeah,
I think Dean was looking to finish the match in a couple of shots with that one, but she didn't make any contact, but they got a run nonetheless. And yes, as you say, Avinash, it's pretty straightforward now, isn't it, or should be, with just 9 runs needed and 3 overs to go.
So we're going to have Porter, who bowled very well in her last over. She's going to be bowling from the nursery end. This is the 18th over starting, and the score is 107 for 4. 9 runs required for a win. She comes right arm round the wicket, a muffled sort of appeal, because it did hit the batter on the pad, but she quickly changed her mind and did not carry on with that appeal.
Yeah, it's a different angle from her deliveries in the previous over, isn't it, when she was over the wicket. So she's trying this as a tactic to perhaps try and tuck them up a little bit.
Tickled into the leg side, and they run through for a quick single. Vegas Webb will now be on strike. 28 not out, score 108 for 4. And she comes right arm round the wicket. A big heave at that one, and misses it completely. The ball is taken by the wicketkeeper. There is no score. In comes Porter. Slightly shorter delivery, which is pulled into the leg side, and they run through for a single, fielded on the square leg boundary. Relatively easy now for them.
It's funny how sometimes the last few runs seem to take an eternity to get, but they are just happily pushing the singles at the moment.
That last ball was, again, the ball was played out onto the leg side. There was no real need to go for it, but they went for it and made it. But there was quite a nice throw coming into the bowler's end there. So score moves along to 110 for 4. Webb on strike. This is the last ball of the 18th over. Short and pulled. It's not going to make it to the boundary. There's a fielder there, and it's just a single. So Webb will retain the strike, I think. Yes. 111 for 4.
5 runs needed from 2 overs. Porter finishes with no wicket for 24 from her 4. The partnership has reached 50, so it's been a match-winning. Well, I
yes,
say
match-winning.
Significant
Partnership, yeah.
It looks as if it's going to be the match-winning partnership. Webb is 30, Dean is 19, so they've played very, very well to get to this point after that wobble in the middle of the innings when 4 wickets went down in relatively quick succession. Kite will continue.
Yes, Kite bowled well in that last over from the pavilion end. And I think it's just a question of going through the process now, isn't it?
Yep, I think so. Just a question of time, isn't it? But
in she comes. Right arm over the wicket.
Ooh.
Big flash outside off stump. Ball goes past where the slips would have been. It's not going to make it to the boundary. And I think they will run 3 runs.
Yes, they ran that one very well. Good running in this partnership, and they do get 3 for that.
Yeah.
114.
So 114, 2 runs required to win. And Dean is now on strike. And she's taking a look at the field, deciding where she's going to, probably wants to win it off this ball.
Yes, they're coming in from the bound. No, they're not. I thought she was summoning the deep square leg in from the boundary, but no, she's not.
Driven to mid-on, and they take a single. 1 ball required for the win. Dean has a baseball-like stance and a high back lift, and she's almost waiting with the bat in the air when she's when she's taking strike. So Webb it is who will probably get the winning run. The scores are level at 115. A big flash outside the off stump. I don't think that was quite a wide, but it almost was. There's no run.
Yes, her eyes lit up when she saw that delivery, but it was a little bit wide, and she couldn't make any contact with it, but that need not detain us a great deal longer.
And that's the winning run. The ball is hit not quite for 4, but through mid-wicket. They run the single that is required. And the UK Armed Forces women win the match against MCC women. There's a band waiting to come on to entertain the crowd. Yeah, that was a good match in the end.
Yeah, it was an interesting example of T20 cricket, wasn't it? Because at 40 odd for no wicket, we thought the match was, if not quite done and dusted, at least not going to go the full length. But in the end, it practically did, and the result was a 6-wicket win for the UK Armed Forces. As the teams shake hands in the middle.
Both teams are shaking hands and, in fact, singing happy birthday to Webb, whose 40th birthday it is today. Very nice touch indeed.
She's had a good day, hasn't she?
She has indeed.
With getting the
34 not out.
The winning run, and bowled well as well.
Yes, she did. She did.
So we will leave you now for a short period after this game, and we'll be back in half an hour or so with the culmination of the day, which will be
Army
the match
against
between Army against the Royal Air Force.
Army against the RAF shortly. So we'll see you in about 10 minutes' time.
We'll see you then.